What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 13 SW Chapter 48, Your Majesty's Evaluation of Akainu? Sanji of Sea Restaurant. Advertisement seeing Hancock growing up. Hyuga Hinata has an inexplicable sense of seeing Kaguya. The same self-proclaimed concubine, the same thinking jumps out. But the teacher himself doesn't understand the world, he was taught by your majesty, but the way is wrong. Cough cough, I was wrong, the teacher is very wise. But Hancock. Hyuga Hinata looked at the arrogance of the empress in his bones, but his eyes were as clean as 7 years ago. Hinata understood. Hancock was a child before the age of 12. At the age of 12, I met Hinata. After that, without any hardships and trials, I returned to the island and worked hard to cultivate and immerse myself in hard cultivation. At the age of 15, she became a new generation of empress. Then continued to practice hard for 4 years. Until this year he was 19 years old and left the customs. The experience of these 19 years is too simple, plain and without waves, not as much as Zuo Ming's experience. Still a blank sheet of paper. A person's growth is related to the living environment, and cognition is more related to experience. Her world is basically only practice. The experience is not much different from 7 years ago. She is a tsundere girl with the status of empress. After thinking about this, Hyuga Hinata landed on the boat, silently took out the power bank, and handed it over. Play less with mobile phones, strength is the fundamental. Well, my concubine knows it. Hancock also fell, his eyes could not be separated from the power bank. Get it for you. After plugging in the phone, Hancock made a proud gesture. Look, my concubine is a head taller than you, and I will be your concubine in the future. Cough. Pay attention to Hinata squinting his eyes. Hancock suddenly felt dangerous, his voice changed immediately, and his expression was full of admiration. Sister Hinata, you are so amazing. Once you show up, Admiral won't dare to move. You just wanted to be a sister, right? Hinata's eyelids twitched slightly. Your acting skills are far behind. AJPE, Master Snake G. Seeing their Lord Snake G lowered her body like a kitten, looking up at her big sister's head, the soldiers of Nine Snake Island were broken in 3 views. Master Snake G, it's not usually like this. Although a bit simple, Haki is very proud and Tsunere is very cold. Humph. Akainu snorted coldly, he felt ignored. Hearing Akainu's cold snort, Hancock immediately started to do it, with one hand on his hips, the other pointing to Akainu and said, Huh, what do you think? You really think you are a puppy, you can stand it. Believe it or not, Sister Hinata wants to kill you with her finger, so she asks if you are afraid. Hinata. Mother-in-law yesterday, great eruption. Akainu was angry. When did he suffer from this kind of anger? The sky is full of lava fists. Time back. When Akainu took the shot, Hinata immediately opened the holy text, moved the arc of time, and regressed Akainu's own time. In a flash, Akainu's attack disappeared, his body returned to its original position, the burst of armed color and magma retracted, and his expression returned to calm. Everything is back to the beginning, also at the same time. Brush. Hinata came behind Akainu and kicked with a kick. Armed bloody bombardment. Akainu, who just looked back, has not recovered yet, and Hinata's back kick is ushered in, which contains an armed look. Boom. Armed with a bloody suit, Hinata's tyrannical force directly kicked Akainu into the air. Damn it. After the inverted Akainu regained his consciousness, he immediately burst into an armed look, ready to defensively and counterattack. Buzz. The arc of time flicked again. Akainu's armament faded, and he became an impossible target again. Boom. Hinata caught up with the flying Akainu and kicked again. Boom 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 boom. Back in time all the defense and attack states of Akainu, Hinata kicked back and forth in the sky like a phantom. A roar resounded in the sky. Sister Hinata, still so powerful. Everyone below was stunned. It was the second time Hancock saw Hinata take action with his own eyes. The last time it was crushing the Vice Admiral Ghost Spider, this time it was crushing Admiral. In the words of the Empire, bugs are simply too buggy, who can handle them? It's not the first time Rayleigh has met. Every time I see Hinata's rules or the arc of time, I feel my scalp tingling. Any defense. Any attack. All fail. In this world, perhaps only Kaido, who is basically indestructible, can hold it. But it is still a target. Cut your soul into pieces and see if you die. Yuan. Marshal, something is going wrong. Marine trembled, looked at the sky in horror, and reported. Akainu Admiral was beaten and completely crushed by Hyuga Hinata, who was grown up. What? Naval Headquarters was shocked. Didn't you talk about the new Emperor of Nine Snake Island? Why is Hyuga Hinata involved? That was the real monster that Whitebeard was afraid of. Time capacity. Thinking of Hinata's terrifying ability to kill Marshal Sora, Sengoku immediately ordered. Quickly, send Akainu, give up the mission, and leave there. Why bother to die for celestial dragons? Presumably the people above can also understand, at least there is no way to target Hinata's ability. Damn it, let the CPO withdraw. At the same time, after receiving Hinata's news, the 4 old stars immediately revoked the order for CP0 to arrest Hancock. Is Empress Hancock? B*********D, you have a background, you said it earlier? In the past 7 years, the attitude of the 4 old stars towards the Empire is not to provoke or offend. It's not that they are scared. Well, they are a little scared, but they are more about preparing big plans. Before the big plan is ready, the nerves of the empire cannot be touched, otherwise it will be completely messed up. Forbearance, forbearance, advertisement, after the plan is complete, you won't be able to come as many people as possible. The four old stars read and thought with confidence. Boom 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 boom. After hitting Akainu dozens of feet again, Hinata was a little surprised at the opponent's vitality, and Admiral was really hard to kick to death. Reverse gravity Shenluo Tianzheng. Boom. Hinata gave up kicking, and the terrifying repulsion exploded, directly blasting Akainu into magma fragments, blasting out dozens of miles away. As for whether it will fall into the sea, this is not in the scope of Hinata's consideration. Finish working. Ah, Sister Hinata, it's so cool, you are so cool. After the fighters on Nine Snake Island were dull again, their empress ran to Hinata like a little girl seeing an idol, speaking incoherently. Give me a bit colder. Hinata is a little helpless. This little girl, really the same as before, is still a little sister. After Hancock nodded, he returned to his arrogant expression again, and said lightly, Hinata, tell, AHFH, concubine, why didn't you kill him? Hinata has a black line. It made you cold, but didn't make you arrogant. Even my sister didn't call me anymore. Do you think Admiral is so easy to kill? Hinata chose to ignore it and calmly said, Your Majesty once commented on Admiral. Kizaru is too smooth, Aokiji is too lazy, only Akainu is like a real soldier. Iron-blooded selfless, firm stand, His Majesty? Hancock's eyes suddenly glowed extremely brightly, and he was a little surprised. If you have a good relationship with your Majesty, then you can let Hinata call your concubine sister. Hancock murmured subconsciously, making Hinata full of black lines again. Sure. Who says you are innocent? As far as you think, it's perfect. You can you up. No need to code, I will take you away. Hinata's gravity bloomed, sweeping the entire Hydra Island ship, and all the women of Hydra Island, flying in the sky. Rayleigh, Shaki, here we go, well, a good journey. Saying hello to Hinata, Rayleigh and Shaki were silent. After a long time, Rayleigh said with emotion, You heard it, I don't quite understand, why does your Majesty have such an evaluation of Akainu? His acting style is more pirate than pirates, right? Position. Shaki said 2 words. Position? Rayleigh suddenly. In a world where strength is everything, it is difficult to distinguish between good and evil. Only the standpoint can be seen clearly. Akainu, who plays for Marine and the world government, must think about it for Marine. Anyone who is detrimental to Marine and world government should be damned. For example, Lan Yu never treats people outside the Empire as human beings. There are too many worlds. The biggest advantage of Akainu is that it has a firm stand, never let go of people outside of Marine and world government, let alone show mercy to people from hostile forces. In Lan Yu's view, Akainu is an excellent general with strong execution and selflessness. Unlike Garp, he works as a Marine while hooking up with pirates. This is different from the generals of a country and the embarrassment of the generals of the enemy country. Putting it in the Empire is nothing short of a traitor. But Akainu also has huge shortcomings. That is to be ruthless, even killing one's own people. You can kill everyone outside the Empire, but you can't kill an empire. This is the rule Lan Yu has set for all his subordinates. Violating the laws of the Empire, as well as people outside the Empire, you can be cruel, you can be ruthless, you can be tyrannical, you can be bloodthirsty, you can kill crazy. But the citizens of the Empire, if he doesn't break the law, you can't move a single hair. For example, Obito allows Enel to destroy Burka, but there is no disturbance, because Burka is not his own. Obviously, Lan Yu appreciates Akainu's firm position. This kind of subordinate is very reassuring. But it was too ruthless to kill his own people, that is what Lan Yu cannot accept. At the same time, East Blue, Sea Restaurant Barati. Lan Yu and Makoto and Hanabi came here. Hello, what would you like to order? A yellow-haired child trot over with the menu, glanced at Makoto and Hanabi, and looked at Lan Yu solemnly. He has never seen 3 people. How old are you? Lan Yu didn't order food, looked at the yellow-haired child and asked a question. I am 9 years old. The yellow-haired child spoke subconsciously, and then explained. It's not the people here who use child labor. I'm a very good cook. Don't underestimate me just because I'm young. Yes. Lan Yu is non-committal. It just feels a bit novel. Little Sanji, after all, came to the sea restaurant. Looking at Xiao Sanji, Lan Yu knew all his experiences. It was nothing more than applying for a sea permit in the Empire at the age of 8, and with the help of Luo, Hawkins, Drake, and the blessing of Reiju, he went to sea with a merchant ship to learn art. After leaving North Blue, little Sanji got off the ship and came to the passenger ship orbit as a trainee chef. A group of chef pirates led by Redfoot Zeb came to the ship to snatch the treasure, and Sanji was washed into the sea by the storm. Jeppu went to the rescue, and the 2 of them lived on the deserted island. In order to keep the 2 alive, Jeppu kept Sanji from telling him all the food, and cut off his right leg as food. Why do you do this? Because you and I have the same dream. When Sanji learned that Jeppu had been eating his right leg, he was deeply moved. 48 days. The 2 were finally saved. Little Sanji really understands the importance of food and learns art from Jeppu. This experience. Lan Yu doesn't care about little Sanji's pursuit. He is still a citizen of the Empire, just going to sea to learn art. Just be a pirate or evil party. Chapter 49. 9 years old Zoro. Listen, I'm here to kick the gym. Advertisement, serve every dish again. Hearing Lan Yu's words, little Sanji was very serious. You can't waste food, or I. Don't worry, you can finish it. As Hyuga Hanabi said, he threw a piece of rainbow jade from heaven to little Sanji. This is. Looking at the rainbow jade in his hand, little Sanji was shocked. Isn't this the treasure jade that was auctioned off in the Imperial North State last year? Because of its rainbow Madara, and the crystals that have no time to emit a comfortable light, it has been sought after by countless businessmen in Shanghai. In the end, it was sold at astronomical price of plus billion berry. This is too expensive. Little Sanji refused again and again. Hyuga Hanabi chuckled, we didn't take berry when we went out, so let's play with it. Rainbow jade. It is an ordinary stone in a certain place in the heavens. There are a lot of them, and they are used by Kakuzu to make money. But in Shanghai, it is indeed valuable. Kakuzu. Make money, I just want to make money. Alright. Little Sanji took the rainbow jade and said politely, we have a lot of dishes. If we serve them all, it may take more time. Please forgive me. Then little Sanji left. Uchiha Mikoto smiled and said, I didn't expect to meet such a small imperial citizen in East Blue. She has never seen Sanji. But Sanji's eyebrows are characteristic of Vinsmoke, and the 12-year-old Reiju is in the same army. Everyone has their own pursuits, as long as they don't break the law, the Empire will not interfere. Lan Yu looked out the window. The scenery around the sea restaurant Barati is good. Distance. More than 100 nautical miles away. There is a huge pirate ship sailing, and the pirate flag is a skull with 3 red stripes on the left eye. Red Force. Red Hair Pirates. The red-haired Shanks standing on the bow of the ship is much more mature than 7 years ago, and there are 3 more scars on his left eye. After Roger's death, one of the most dazzling pirate supernovas. This is what Lan Yu knows, the current evaluation of Shanks by the sea. At the age of 27 this year, according to the original trajectory, Red Hair is still 6 years away from becoming the 4 emperors, and his strength is still in a stage of explosive growth. It is wise to stay away from the chaos of New World and travel everywhere. He's coming to East Blue. Counting the time, Lan Yu remembered that a creature called the protagonist was 7 years old. 7-year-old child. It's just a piece of white paper that can be left freely. Jeppu broke his foot for the sake of little Sanji, and completely strengthened the faith of little Sanji. The wine here is good. Lan Yu looked back and drank calmly. After Sanji ran back to the kitchen, he was very excited. Uncle Jeppu, look, what is this? Be careful, don't hit anyone. Wearing a tall chef hat, a golden twist beard, and a prosthetic leg in his right eye, Jeppu turned around and looked at him in surprise. If you sell such a special jade, at least 10 million berry, right? Sanji said immediately. No, last year, the Imperial Northern State was a little bigger than this, but 1 billion berry was auctioned. Jeppu glanced at Sanji strangely. How did this kid know about Beijo, and said calmly, it looks like a rich man. Uncle Zepp, you are wrong again. Sanji took the rainbow jade into Kabuto and said with excitement, it's not a question of money. They ordered all the dishes. This is a recognition of me. They must be attracted by my cooking skills. Jeppu was speechless. You have a ghost cooking skill. Just you? Let's serve the plates for a few more years? Ah, no, I'm here to learn art. Don't be long-winded, take the dishes from table 9. Red Hair Pirates. I missed the sea restaurant Barati and headed towards the East Blue Inner Island. Lan Yu didn't care, and tasted Zepp's dishes with Mikoto and Hanabi. Hanabi's eyes lit up. The food here is pretty good and innovative. It seems that the child found a good food. Mikoto is not hesitating to praise. And in the corner, Sanji smirked, as if the dishes on the table were made by himself. Come over. Jeppu came out and took a look. Then Sanji pulled into the kitchen and said in a deep voice, they're not easy, don't look around. Sanji dissatisfied. I'm not afraid, I'm the emperor. Speaking of this, Sanji muttered. Forget it, just don't look at it, that man is a little more handsome than me. Sure enough, it's a kid, are you only handsome in your eyes? Zepp was tired. As a retired pirate who has been to the Grand Line for a year, if it weren't for Sanji, he would definitely retreat. Lan Yu is a terrifying existence that trembles with a glimpse of Zeppu's heart. Even if the other party just tasted the food calmly, even if no breath leaped out, Jeppu couldn't rise a trace of courage. Unseen horror. Seeing Jeppu sweating on his forehead, Sanji was speechless. It depends on what you are afraid of, it's like seeing a big man in the Holy Empire. Jeppu took a deep breath and said, no, I have watched the live broadcast. As far as I feel, the man outside is far more terrifying than those big people. Real or fake? The 9-year-old Sanji couldn't help being shocked. During the live broadcast, however, Conan, the captain of the Holy Soldiers, appeared. More scary than that? It must be an illusion by Jeppu. So, do your business honestly, don't look around, that's an offense. Jeppu finished speaking seriously and went back to cook. Sanji was stunned. Advertisement a man terrifying than Captain Conan, the marshal of the Empire's armed forces he has never seen before is still his. Uncle Jeppu must have read it wrong. The one in a small place like East Blue won't come. Sanji was shocked and continued to serve the plate. He has never seen Lan Yu, nor has anyone else seen Mikoto and Hanabi. Although Mikoto has been to the Marine headquarters, Kushina and Tsunade are the only ones who have been seen scheming. Attack the North State. Hanabi and Mikoto also didn't go. Lan Yu relaxes, and naturally leads people who haven't shown up. Let's go. After eating, Lan Yu continued to travel. Jeppu breathed a sigh of relief when the gorgeous merchant ship was leaving. Seeing Sanji, who was suddenly silent, Jeppu didn't care. He always knew that Sanji had something on his mind, but the other party didn't say anything, and Jeppu didn't ask anymore. Sanji suddenly raised his head and said, Uncle Jeppu, how many years do you think I need to lay a solid foundation and be qualified to continue to study art in other sea areas? Jeppu pondered. The real chef is not just throwing ingredients in and putting in the seasonings. If you want to learn something, you can learn my cooking skills for more than 10 years. Over 10 years? Sanji calculated the time. He is 9 years old now, and he will be more than 20 years later. No, I want to learn something within 10 years. Sanji set himself a small goal. 0. Look for flowers. Wait until the age of 19. Continuing to go abroad to learn art, a solid foundation will allow him to usher in an explosion of culinary skills. Have to say, sailing on the sea is very boring, often 10 days and a half of the sea is full of waves, nothing. Lan Yu was calm and Mikoto smiled, but the lively Hyuga Hanabi can be a bit listless. The islands encountered these days are nothing to see, and most of the ships encountered are pirate ships. But the pirate above is too weak. Hanabi stood on the bow of the ship boredly. After a long time, Hyuga Hanabi's eyes lit up. There is another island, although it is a bit small, but I feel there is a surprise there. Far away, it's like a village island, not big or small. Lan Yu looked at it and said leisurely, if there is a little surprise, there really is one there. This sentence. It aroused the curiosity of Mikoto and Hanabi, and couldn't help but look forward to it. The name of the village is Shimotsuki Village. The island is unremarkable, but there is a sword hall on the island called Ishin Dojo. Now, inside the Heart Dojo, dozens of children were holding bamboo knives and constantly waving them, and a man with round glasses not far away watched this scene with a smile. He has the logo of Wanokuni Shimotsuki on his clothes. Decades ago, the craftsman Shimotsuki Kosaburo, the craftsman who created the Hedoichi character in Yanmo, who created the great sharp sword 21 workmanship, was one of the few people who went out when Wanokuni was in retreat. Shimotsuki Kosaburo came to settle in East Blue. Decades have passed so far. Kosaburo is not there, but Koshiro is still there. Be serious, Ron, your actions are wrong, do it again. Koshiro said gently, always smiling. Mimi, his teacher. The student Ron couldn't help but be scared. Mother Ron said, Mimi's eyes are all monsters. Is there anyone? Is there anyone? There was a young boy's voice outside the door, but it was a bit arrogant. Koshiro looked back. I saw a 9-year-old green-haired child with a leaf in his mouth, and said very arrogantly, listen well, I'm here to kick the pavilion. Bring out all the awesome guys, and let me have a showdown. Koshiro smiled. This green-haired child is really interesting, he is so young and good-natured. Ha 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 ha. Koshiro smiled and walked over. It's really rare to come to kick the gym. Koshiro laughed indifferently. The green-haired child raised his head and said dissatisfied, huh, don't underestimate me when you think I am a child. I am unbeatable in the village next door. That's pretty good. Koshiro smiled and said, yes, accept your challenge, come on, what is your name? Zoro. Roronoa Zoro. The 9-year-old Zoro grinned and pointed to the sign of Ishin Dojo and said, if I win, take your sign. Koshiro casually said, what if you lose? Lose. Little Zoro really didn't think about it. After thinking about it for a while, little Zoro bit his head and said, if you lose, I will join you. Then it's settled. The more I look at this little green hair, Koshiro admires this child very much. Not everyone has the guts to play in the gym, but it just so happens that Zoro has it. Immediately, Koshiro turned around and shouted, Kuina. Chapter 50. Kuina. A girl can't be the strongest swordsman. Advertisement. Kuina. How come it looks like a girl's name? The 9-year-old Zoro who came to kick the pavilion was startled, and then saw a little girl who was a few years older than him with short blue and black hair coming over calmly. This made little Zoro very dissatisfied. I'm here to kick the gym, no. Boom. The words have not fallen yet. A bamboo knife fell on little Zoro's neck. 11-year-old Kuina said flatly, if it is a real sword, if it is an enemy, you are already dead. You are so fast. Little Zoro was startled, then grinned excitedly. That's interesting, the village next door is too weak. Kuina ignored it, closed the knife and turned around to prepare. Go, I'll take you to choose a knife. The more Koshiro looks, the more satisfied Zoro is. Although a bit arrogant, it is indeed more worth seeing than those other only students. Soon, Koshiro took Zoro to the training room. There was a bamboo tube in the corner with dozens of bamboo knives. Can I use either one? Zoro looked at it and asked without looking up. Koshiro smiled and said, whatever. Scare. Zoro spit out the leaves he was holding, and after Koshiro said, he hugged 9 bamboo knives. Grasped 3 of them with each hand. The last 3 stopped. 9 knives. The rest of the children were stunned. Every bamboo, 2 or 4 0, knife is much higher than the 9-year-old Zoro. A student stunned. This guy, wouldn't you think that the more knives, the more powerful, right? Another student said, he bit like a fool. Heard these words. Little Zoro glared fiercely, and suddenly a lot of them frightened the children. Interesting. Koshiro still smiled. Quickly, Kuina came with a bamboo knife and stood calmly. Then, ready to begin. Koshiro became a referee. Yes, Zoro spoke very hard with 3 bamboo knives in his mouth, but his eyes were firm. Salute to the altar. Koshiro took Zoro and Kuina towards the hanging altar above, bowing together in salute. Salute to each other. Hearing Koshiro's words, the two saluted each other one after another. Kendo competition is a serious matter. Start. With the words falling, Zoro set up a fighting posture, clung to 9 bamboo knives tightly. He is the man who defeated the invincible man in the next village, and he must never lose to a girl. Kuina was extremely calm. Waving freely, he held the bamboo knife with both hands. What is that guy doing? The children can't stop talking about it. Not to mention the 9 knives, just mention the height gap. The 11-year-old Kuina is nearly 2 heads taller than the 9-year-old Zoro, especially Zoro's body arched because of the difficulty of grasping 9 knives, which is a bit shorter. This scene, it's like an adult hitting a child. Ka. Kuina lowered her head to look down at the green-haired kid in front of her, and bluntly pointed the knife. What? Zoro screamed. The whole person flew out, and all the 9 bamboo knives were scattered on the ground. But damn it, Zoro was completely stunned, which was completely different from what he thought. But Zoro never admits defeat. Come again. Zoro picked up 2 bamboo knives on the ground. Putting on a posture of second swordsmanship, full of fighting spirit. Knight. Koshiro squinted slightly, surprised. From just grabbing the 9 swords, Koshiro saw that the opponent hadn't learned any swordsmanship at all. But now, with this standard action, Kuina couldn't help asking, have you learned the swordsmanship of the second sword? No, today is the first time I have a knife. Zoro yelled retort, not discouraged. Upon hearing this, Koshiro smiled again. How can this not make people wonder? People who have never touched a sword, unexpectedly have the posture of a swordsman subconsciously. Damn it, I am very strong, I will definitely be stronger in the future. Seeing Kuina's plain gaze, Zoro put on a fierce expression. How can I lose to such a girl? What? Zoro yelled. He rushed up with 2 bamboo knives. Kuina went up and hit Zoro's forehead with a slash, knocking him to the ground, and Byakugan overturned. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Why doesn't he hide? The children watching all hurt. Seeing this, Koshiro said, 1 point, that's it. Wow. Kuina plunged a knife into Zoro's head, who fell on the ground, and said coldly, this kid is like a pig. Hey, Kuina. Koshiro couldn't help having a headache. Are you afraid of hitting this child with this sentence? Kuina continued. Obviously I am a layman, so what else do you need for the 9-sword style and 2-sword style, you are still 10 years early. What? Zoro, who was lying on the ground, grabbed Kuina's knife, his eyes full of stubbornness. Kuina said indifferently, why? Do you want to compare this look? Don't be long-winded, if you lose, you lose. Zoro stood up and stared at Kuina fiercely. In good spirits, Koshiro squinted his eyes and said, it's very simple, not bad, then. Advertisement. Zoro glared at Koshiro again and shouted, I will join you now, do you have any comments? Willing to bet. Zoro, will never regret it. No comment. Koshiro kept smiling at Mimi. The other children kept complaining that this green-haired kid was too arrogant, and even so arrogant after losing. Kuina ignored her and turned around. Seeing Kuina about to leave, Zoro shouted, I will work hard to practice, and I will definitely defeat you, remember it for me. The audience fell silent. The children and students were even more shocked. That was Kuina, the girl they couldn't beat together. Kuina turned her head, her tone was flat, there won't be that day. When the words fell, he turned and left. Damn it, I must beat you. Since I choose to use swords, then I will be the world's strongest swordsman. Zoro has never seen such an arrogant girl when he grows up, he must defeat her. Are you another kid to be the strongest? Koshiro was inexplicably accountable. Both of them are children with such a strong personality, and it is difficult for him to handle them. Especially Kuina, always thinking of becoming the world's largest swordsman, this kind of in Koshiro's opinion. It's just an unrealistic dream. Koshiro murmured. Girls, you can't become the world's #1 swordsman. At the same time, Kuina, who had just walked outside the door, couldn't help but lowered her head and leaned against the door extension, a little discouraged. Father, I heard it again. I understand, I have understood this kind of thing a long time ago. But, I'm not reconciled. Kuina looked down at her little bear and wanted to crush it. The guy who just came is really nice, because he is a boy. Unlike me, it's starting to grow here. If I can become a boy, I am really unwilling. The children in the room were startled. The more Kuina talked, the more unwilling she became, her voice became louder, and Zoro heard it all. Koshiro just sighed. You beat me, don't say anything like this anymore. But Zoro was very angry and roared. This is too despicable, you are my goal to defeat, what kind of man and woman, wait for me to beat you, do you have to say the same? As he said, Zoro ran out and continued to shout angrily, it sounds like I didn't win by strength. Wouldn't I be like an idiot who decided to work hard to cultivate? Stop saying that. Kuina stayed where she was. You are the first person of my age to beat me, I recognize you. Come to Bibi. Zoro looked up at Kuina who was 1 or 2 heads high, and said seriously, Bibi look, who can be the world's largest swordsman? This kid. Koshiro looked complicated and blamed himself. A kid who just came to the dojo knows to encourage Kuina, but he hits Kuina again and again. His father is too negligent. Which is the surprise? Is it this little green-haired kid? It shouldn't be, it looks silly, that's this girl. At this time, there was a very curious and beautiful female voice. When the children saw it, they were stunned. A girl in a white long dress walked slowly from the sky in the distance, with long hair fluttering and a delicate face. A 15-year-old girl stepped out of the sky. Come down like an angel. Zoro was sluggish for a moment, and then angrily said, "Damn it, are you talking about me? Where am I stupid?" Kuina said calmly, "She just said the little green-haired kid, but didn't say you." That's right. Zoro eased. But when Zoro scanned the audience and found that only his hair was green, he was suddenly frustrated. Damn it, she's just me. You kid, really kind of silly. Hyuga Hanabi chuckled. Under the shock of everyone, he crossed hundreds of meters in a flash and came to Kuina 2 meters away. Pot. The sound of the real sword being unsheathed. Koshiro's horizontal sword blocked Hyuga Hanabi, and said in a deep voice, "You are too dangerous, please stay away from Kuina." Whether it comes from the sky. Still hundreds of meters in a flash. Koshiro didn't want his daughter to enter the dangerous situation before confirming the true intention of the other party. Hyuga Hanabi looked at Koshiro and noticed a decent aura from the opponent. But it can only be said that the other party has some strength. It does not prove that the opponent is the top power. Koshiro condensely said, "Who are you?" Hyuga Hanabi said calmly, "I come from the Holy Empire, looking for the surprise that your majesty said. So far, this little girl should be just that." What? Holy Empire 5.7. The whole audience exploded. Even Kuina and Zoro stared wide, with a look of disbelief. 7 years. Enough to make some legends become myths. Especially the weakest East Blue. Some people who have watched the live broadcast did not understand why Hinata and others are so strong. Under the constant spread, they rendered the Holy Empire into the most terrifying existence. There is a concentration of monsters. The legend is too far away from them. Sudden appearance. How not shocking. When everyone is sluggish. Hyuga Hanabi looked at Kuina. I heard it. I have to say that your father's vision is too low and he is very irresponsible. Who said women can't be the strongest in the world? Join the empire. Your future will far exceed your father's imagination. Kuina was at a loss. Koshiro smiled wryly and put down the knife. Even the people in the empire say so, am I really wrong? Kuina is what he has seen and even heard. The kid with the strongest kendo talent. Can grow up. Not to mention other things, as far as strength is concerned, the gap with men will only get bigger and bigger. What is the comparison? Linlin. I feel offended. Immediately, Hyuga Hanabi looked at Koshiro and said, Warla, before Kuina joins the empire, let her see how strong the girls in the empire are. Coming to fight. Chapter 51. Hyuga Hanabi vs Shi Lang Kong. Teacher, I want to learn this. Advertisement. Hanabi's determination. Koshiro could only smile wryly, never thought of rebutting, the people of the Holy Empire couldn't afford it. Let's fight then. He also wanted to know the strength of the other little girls in the Holy Empire except for the unscientific Hinata. If the 14 or 5-year-old girl in front of him is also very strong, then he can safely hand over Kuina to the Empire for training. Is there any reason to prevent my daughter from becoming stronger? No. Damn it, the woman said I was stupid and decided, she is the second goal I want to defeat. Little Zoro was still immersed just now, he said that he could not stand such adjectives. Kuina was speechless. I couldn't even beat me, and I found someone who could play against my father as the target. Hey, that guy with Mimi eyes, is that okay? Zoro looked up at Kuina, who was much taller than him. Kuina said flatly, you have already joined your father's sect, so you have to learn to be polite, do you understand with respect? With that said, Kuina was also a little worried. She has never seen Koshiro make a move, thinking that the other party is not much better than herself, but she has heard too many legends about the Holy Empire. The children there are monsters. Especially, Hyuga Hinata. The girl who was only 2 years older than me 7 years ago was already at the top of the world. How not to be admired? Think of Hinata, who was once famous in the world at the age of 13, and think of her 11-year-old. Kuina is not decadent, but chooses to work hard. Idle Hinata, I will try my best to stand in front of you. Boom. The next moment, 07 roared, the children of Ishin Dojo blocked their ears and looked forward in shock. How can people be so strong? Little Zoro's eyes widened as well, and his soul was hit like never before. Kuina also lost her eyes. So, is the world so big? All children. They all stood on the top of the hill and watched the battle below the hill. This was specifically requested by Koshiro to avoid accidental injuries. They didn't understand before, but now they understand. What catches the eye is the torn pieces of the earth below the mountain, the squally wind swept through, and the earth quaked constantly. To the children such as Zoro, this scene is tantamount to the collapse of the sky and the end of the day. But, it is only the level of the elite swordsman to the top swordsman, and it has not reached the level of the world-class swordsman. This, strength, very good. Hyuga Hanabi is very excited, the top swordsman level, it is precisely the strength that 15-year-old Hanabi can match. Although, my strength is not comparable to that of my sister, I will not be too far behind. When the words fell, Hyuga Hanabi burst out again. Liehuatang. Hyuga Hanabi, the spiritual power burst out, a huge spiritual power palm appeared, and a blue flame was burning on it. She's still a child. Watching news and watching live broadcasts can never compare to personal experience. Hanabi's age and strength make Koshiro sigh, but there is one question. Who is the sister in her mouth? Shimotsuki cut. With Kazuichi words in hand, Koshiro volleyed into the air, and a huge flying slash like a crescent appeared. Tear. Liehua's palm was directly torn apart, but Koshiro was surprised. The strength of the split palm did not dissipate. Instead, it split into two and continued to attack, making Koshiro directly feel the terrible temperature. Shimotsuki cuts in a row. Koshiro chopped 10 times in a row, slashing fish leapt out like a sword net. Still, Koshiro's expression condensed, and he shouted loudly when he saw the palm strength that was broken into fragments, still attacking faster in the form of fragments. Sword pressure. Sword pressure. Hanabi was startled, and saw that all the fragments of the fire hall in front were shattered by a strange aura like a repulsive force. Be careful. Before Hanabi could recover, Koshiro rushed over, his eyes sharp. Boom. A special aura enveloped the audience, causing Zoro and others on the top of the mountain to numb their scalp. Absolutely overwhelming fear. This is Zoro's aura feeling. One sword style great shock. Koshiro rushed towards Hanabi with a knife in both hands and slashed at Hanabi. This is a powerful aura that will make the opponent unable to move, which belongs to the special spiritual will of the swordsman. Hanabi stream revolving heaven. Koshiro's so-called aura did not affect Hanabi. At the moment of Koshiro's attack, Hanabi exploded with a large amount of spiritual power, making a circular rotation like a top, like a spiral. Zizabang. With a slash on revolving heaven, Koshiro felt the tyrannical rebound force and directly shook him back. The slash was also bounced away, and the slash rushed to the rear, under the shocking gaze of Zoro and others. A hill ahead. It was directly split in two. Multiple divine destruction. When Koshiro retreated, Hanabi lifted revolving heaven, raising his hand to launch dozens of lasers. Chiang. Koshiro retreated, repeatedly waved the knife to block, blocking the sacred destruction of Hanabi one by one. Multiple divine destruction. Hanabi attacked again and became a great magician directly, releasing arrows continuously from a distance. He didn't want to give Koshiro any chance to fight back, but Koshiro resolutely gave up the block and quickly left the place. Pin. While moving, Hidaoi's words suddenly fell away. When Koshiro stopped, he suddenly drew his sword. One sword-style Juhei slash. Among the sparks, Hanabi didn't even see the flash, and Koshiro passed Hanabi. The two are misplaced by tens of meters. It seems that everything has stagnated. Koshiro closed the knife again. Little Zoro stared blankly and murmured. Teacher, I want to learn this. No, I also want to learn the last trick. Kuina has a black line. Learn how to hold a knife first. Do you still fight? Koshiro stood up straight and returned to smiling Mimi again. Advertisement. He was pretty sure that the knife hit Hanabi, and if he was not treated in time, he would die. It should be me asking you. To Koshiro's astonishment, Hanabi's voice did not fall, and he disappeared directly into a spirit. Clone. When? Koshiro couldn't help but smile. He hadn't fought for many years, and he was so careless. Before I lift revolving heaven. A voice sounded in the empty valley, and Hanabi walked out of the shadow calmly. The warm-up is over, go ahead. What? Warm up? Zoro and Kuina lost their voices again. The battle between the two opened the door of new world to the children who only needed bamboo knives. They have to be so strong. No, surpass them. Lan Yu and Makoto watched on the sea a few miles away from Shimotsuki village. Makoto smiled and said, after more than 10 days of listlessness at sea, little Hanabi finally has energy. It can only be said that the sea is too boring. Lan Yu is also the first time to experience how normal people sailing on the sea is really boring. Except for the sea, it is the sea. Can only walk around on the boat. Lan Yu is okay. He often stays in retreat for more than 10 years, but Hanabi is the most active and active age. But sailing at sea also has advantages. It can grind people's patience, because urgency is useless. Look at this surprise. Lan Yu raised his hand slightly, the power of space enveloped Shimotsuki village. In an instant, Kuina felt that the surrounding scenes were changing rapidly, and she felt faint and confused when she landed on the boat. People. Zoro waited for the children to look around dumbfounded, where's Kuina? Looked for a moment. Zoro yelled. Teacher, Kuina was taken away by the monster. Koshiro almost fell after a tracker, and Hanabi's eyelids also twitched. Can this bear kid speak? Hanabi said casually. Be proud of yourself, your daughter, it should be with your majesty. What? Koshiro's heart was shaken. This shocked Koshiro dozens of times more than Kuina was suddenly taken away by the 4 old stars, or by General Wanokuni. This girl. Makoto looked at the 11-year-old Kuina and said softly, is surprise a kendo talent? Lan Yu said with his jaws. It is known that her kendo talent is indeed good. Whether it works or not, Lan Yu will let Kuina do it. Lan Yu has a lot of experience on how to train Loli and Lan Yu. Zoro. Lan Yu glanced at Zoro in Shimotsuki village again, and looked back. I admire the original Zoro and Lan Yu very much, a real man, don't explain. But, real men also need a process of growth. Different experiences will have different qualities. Are you? Just now, Kuina directly changed the honorific. The woman in front of her was as gentle and beautiful as the sister next door. 240 But the man beside him. Looking at her calmly made her feel unprecedented pressure, far stronger than the aura of her father just now. Buzz. Next moment. The pressure has doubled. Kuina's body is slightly arched, and her forehead is sweaty. Doubled again. Kuina knelt on the ground, her eyes full of shock, she should be more determined. She seemed to understand. The other party is testing her. Buzz. Double it again. I can hold it. Kuina reluctantly opened her mouth, her body curled up, trying her best to open it. Buzz. Doubled again. Puff. Kuina lay down on the ground awkwardly, her face pale, and she felt her heart stagnate. Can you still raise your head? Lan Yu has his own way of cultivating lowly. Under normal circumstances, he will fight to the death. Today, he has been very restrained. Makoto. Your Majesty today is extra gentle. She remembered that she and Kushina started to fight half dead before talking. Only grow up, only to see the gentleness of your Majesty. Bye-bye if they were abandoned halfway. Because Lan Yu doesn't like vases. I can. Kuina looked up hard. Lan Yu didn't say anything. The coercion doubled again. Puff. Kuina passed out completely. 2 days later, Koshiro, who was covered in bandages, looked dumbfounded at Kuina who was splitting 1 or 2 meters away from the sea with Lynx's sword in front of him. He felt his worldview collapsed. How can it be? Koshiro was sluggish. Little Zoro was even more shocked. The slash of 1 or 2 meters is very small, but Kuina 2 days ago, it is estimated that even the stone can't be split. What growth rate is this? Lan Yu didn't give Kuina anything, just opened the spiritual power system. It also asked Kuina to practice swords in addition to learning basic skills. Don't waste talent. Kuina put away the spiritual blade and looked at Koshiro. Father, my daughter is here to say goodbye. Chapter 52. Little girl, give me a face and spare Buggy's life. Advertisement. 2 months later, Hokage Village. There were corpses everywhere, loud wailing, angry roars, and cries of horror. My lord 100,000. 50,000 kids. You will be killed if you don't pay. This is the pirate. Ridiculous. Holding the long and narrow spirit blade, Kuina walked indifferently to the dragon whose right hand had been severed. Dragon Pirate Group. I came to East Blue 2 years earlier than the original trajectory. 3 or 4 months ago, Tiger had just died, and the evil dragon released the evil in his heart. Just came to Kokoja village for 3 days. Then came Kuina, who was fighting for fighting. Be ignorant before going to sea. But after only 2 months of training at sea, Kuina understood the evil of the pirates, and that was an unforgivable sin. These 2 months, she has destroyed 9 pirate groups, and each pirate is the ultimate evil. Burn, kill, and plunder. Do no evil. Why should you be a pirate? Kuina's voice is cold. 10 days ago, she met a girl with a sweet look, a good personality, cheerful and lively, and very humorous. Such a girl. Make Kuina feel like a good girl. Available in 2 hours. Everything has changed. Why rob the villagers of money? I'm a pirate. It's normal to snatch money, isn't it normal? If you don't snatch money, how do we eat? Find treasures. Where are so many treasures? Robbing pirates. Will kill, but I will not kill civilians. This 3 views. It made Kuina almost collapsed, especially when the other party smiled and said what she took for granted. Haven't you thought about working to make money? Kuina wanted to question, but suddenly felt meaningless. She understood. Even if some pirates are kind and yearn for freedom, they will not benefit the world at all. No production. Only disadvantages. The more seemingly kind pirate, the more damn it. You guys, more damn it. The villagers of Kokoja in Kuina were pleasantly surprised and chopped off the dragon's head. Simple and kind. 6 swords flow is invincible in the world. Die. Kuina turned around and hacked this kind-hearted Xiaoba who took her to Kokoja village to death. Looking at Kuina, who was indifferent and killing murlocs, the villagers of Kokoja village were suddenly a little scared. Will she be too cruel? A villager spoke like this. This sentence made Belmir laugh, and laughed coldly. Can you not be so naive? How many people have they killed in the past 3 days? Your family has no dead, does it have nothing to do with you? Do you want to ask her to leave? Let those pirates continue to kill. The villager chuckled. Many villagers are ashamed and embarrassed. 10-year-old Nuauchi said with a stern face, the dragon kicked his mother, and the other murlocs are laughing. They all deserve to die. Yeah, my sister is right. The 8-year-old Nami nodded repeatedly. But her eyes couldn't be separated from Kuina, who wielded a knife and slashed repeatedly. That elder sister, who is not a few years older than her, is so powerful. She beats several murlocs who claim to be 10 times stronger than humans. And outside the village of Kokoja, Hyuga Hanabi on the boat, feeling Kuina's more intense mood swings, worried. She is still young, will she make her mind extreme? Kuina was taught half a month later. She started stalking, gave her a small boat, let her wander in East Blue, and settle the problem by herself. But after encountering several evil pirate groups one after another, Kuina's thinking changed. Whether you are good or bad, kill the pirate when you see it. Hanabi was not worried about Kuina killing the pirates, but worried that she would become bloodthirsty, cold-blooded, and lose her heart. Things have 2 sides, you should choose to believe in Kuina and stick to your heart. Lan Yu said, looking at Hanabi and asking a question. What you said to Kuina, the kinder the pirate, the more damn it is, how do you understand? This sentence. It's a bit contradictory. Hanabi's thoughts turned rapidly, and he suddenly realized. I understand Kuina's thoughts. Some pirates are kind, but in the name of pirates, they have saved many people, affected many people, and let more kind people go out to sea as pirates. Not everyone who is affected can maintain goodness and eventually become evil. Saving people in the name of pirates is the greatest evil in itself. They indirectly killed more innocent people. Correct. Makoto agreed. Saving someone is a heroic act, but if the saver shouts that I am a pirate and I want to become the One Piece king, then many children will think that the One Piece is the hero and the One Piece is the king of heroes. Distort the thinking of the new generation. Make the world more chaotic. Therefore, in Kuina's current thinking, no matter the character is good or bad, pirates are evil and deserve to die. Another pirate group. Hyuga Hanabi looked into the distance. A small pirate ship approached slowly, with a red nose on the pirate flag skull. Kuina is here. It seems, they are out of luck and they are over. Hyuga Hanabi affirmed that the current Kuina is the time when pirates are hated the most. Bad luck. After seeing who came, Lan Yu thought that the other party's luck had reached the limit of the world. But things must be reversed. The owner of the strongest lucky color in the world turns his luck into bad luck after all. Listen to the little village in front. Hand over all the treasures, you can choose not to pay, then I will ruin this village. What? The loud shout that came, made the villagers in Kokoja village panic again. The dragon pirate group has just been settled. Is there another pirate group? Advertisement. Damn it, these pirates are too much. Little Nami was so angry that she wanted to punch her with a small fist. Belmere picked up a knife dropped by the Murloc. We can't always rely on others, we have to resist. Kuina will leave eventually. The pirates may come again. If someone does not resist this time when someone is helping, they will not want to resist next time if there is no one to help. Boom. An artillery shell landed on the coast of Kokosia village, directly blasting a piece of land. See, did you? This is just a small cannonball, my buggy can even destroy half a town. Give you half an hour to put all the treasures on the coast, or I will blow you up all to death. There were waves of threatening mouths in the distance, and many villagers were shocked to flee frantically. Too frightening. Even more terrifying than the dragon pirates, East Blue actually has pirates who threaten people to pay by destroying the entire village. Buggy. Play. Clown Buggy. Belmere couldn't help being surprised. The dragon and pirates just arrived in East Blue just a few days ago, and they are not well known, but the buggy pirates have been rampant in East Blue for several years. Belmere used to be Marine. A battle with the pirates caused the entire army to be annihilated. After seeing 3-year-old Nuauchi holding 1-year-old Nami on the battlefield, he decided to adopt 2 women and retire. So, she knows a lot about Buggy. According to the chief, Buggy the clown is very taboo from talking about his nose, and because of this he often goes mad and hurts innocent people. It is more fun to abuse the weak. Because of a moment of anger, he used Buggy shells to indiscriminately bomb many towns, causing countless casualties. My favorite is to snatch treasures and do no evil. Belmere's words made the villagers frightened. He actually blew up the town, how could there be such a cruel pirate? What? Kuina's eyes were cold. The world outside Shimotsuki village is really messy. Ta ta ta. Kuina didn't say a word, and walked towards the sea with a spiritual blade, shocked by the villagers. She stepped on the sea. Walked towards the pirate ship slowly approaching. Little Nami was stunned. That sister is so amazing, she actually walked on the sea. People of the Holy Empire. Belmere was even more shocking. She had been a marine, how could she not know that the soldiers of the Holy Empire could walk on the sea? Perhaps I should take them to live in North Blue, but it's too far. It is rumored that there are no pirates and evil parties in North Blue, and Belmere also hopes to give Nami and Nuauchigao a stable life. But East Blue is half a world away from North Blue. Master Barky, you, look, she, ran over. What a pirate saw, he was incoherent in astonishment. Are you stuttering? Buggy wearing a pirate hat touched his red nose and snorted dissatisfiedly. With me here, who dares to run over? Buggy believes that as a man who thinks that the essence of a pirate is to grab wealth, his dream is to get all the treasures in the world. Even if this village doesn't have much money, it's still meaty no matter how small it is. Hiss. When Buggy glanced towards the sea. Wow. In an instant, Buggy's whole body in astonishment was torn apart, and his eyes flew out. A little girl in front, running on the sea, hurriedly approached here. Hurry up, attack her. Subconsciously, Buggy was a little scared and ordered to attack, but Buggy hurriedly shouted. No, run away, set the boat, run. Damn it, why is my luck so bad? Damn it, how could the people of the Empire be on this island? They would die, they would definitely die. Buggy was sweating profusely, and his eyes were a little scared. He who watched the live broadcast of Sabayati battle 7 years ago, he also saw that the opponent's sea running is an Empire characteristic. Empire people are monsters. There was nothing at other moments, but he robbed the island where the Empire was located. Buggy couldn't imagine how he would die. Today's luck is exceptionally poor. You can't escape. A few meters away from the pirate ship, Kuina held the spirit blade in both hands and aimed it at the pirate ship. With a sword. Fortunately, there is still a chance. Seeing that the attack prepared by the other party was a sword technique, Buggy breathed a sigh of relief. Hurry up, I will block her. Buggy flew halfway over. Sword pressure. Kuina went into psychic madness. A slash of more than 10 meters in size came in and hit the Buggy who was flying halfway up. Although I am very afraid of the monsters of the Empire, but you are a little girl, and the last thing I am afraid of Buggy is new. Buggy made a painful voice before he finished speaking. His right hand was cut open, and he who possessed chop fruit should have been harmless, but the pain of soul tearing came from his right hand. Ah, it hurts. Buggy yelled, eyes full of disbelief. Even if he was stabbed by the former Captain Roger, he would not be injured. But this Empire girl, die. One move succeeded. Although Kuina was surprised that the other parts of the other party were also splitting, Kuina shot without mercy. Jumped from the sea, cut directly at Buggy's head. Slash the soul. Boom. At this moment, a gunshot sounded. Kuina's spiritual blade was directly bounced away, causing her to turn over in midair and land on the surface of the sea. Pirate again. Kuina stabilized her body and looked at a large pirate ship approaching again with cold eyes. The voice comes out first when the person is not seen. Little girl, give me face and let Buggy go. Kuina's expression became colder when she heard the sound coming from a distance. Why should I give you face? Red hair. Chapter 53. Shanks, guilty pirate deserves to die, but brothers are different. Advertisement. The pirates form a group to die. This is the first time I saw a pirate save a pirate. Hyuga Hanabi blinked and watched the play. The merchant ship not far from Konoha Village is invisible to others, and Lan Yu's spatial power is shrouded here. As a result, Kuina also believed that she was completely stalked, and Hanabi and others had left early. Actually, Merchant has been following Kuina, traveling and witnessing her growth. The new Buggy and red hair pirates did not see the merchant ship where Lan Yu was located. As the left hand gone. Noting the redhead Shanks bandaged his left shoulder, Lan Yu could see that the other party had just severed his hand. Bet on the new era. This is ridiculous in Lan Yu's view. If a kid is not the protagonist, he would have died dozens of times earlier. Lan Yu didn't go to the windmill village, or sailed there, she was not interested. Main character. At the moment the Empire descends, the protagonist is no longer the protagonist, and may be caught in a storm and died in the sea as soon as he went out to sea. There is no shining light on Lan Yu's side. When the protagonist of a rib loses his luck, it is a typical scam teammate who will not pay for his life. One more thing. On the day that the Straw Hat ship group was established, and the day when the protagonist accepted countless criminal pirates as his younger brother, the Straw Hat was no longer the Straw Hat it used to be. Why give me face? After hearing Kuina's words, the red-haired Shanks hadn't recovered for a long time. But the crew laughed. Ha ha ha, I'm so ridiculous, the captain's face is useless at all. That's right, even the little girl can't be kept, the captain is so embarrassing. The first time I saw the captain's expression, I really laughed at me. Let's have a banquet to celebrate. Each crew member laughed, but the cadres such as Beckman, Usopp, and Lackey Lu looked solemn. That little girl, but standing on the sea. 99% is a man of the Empire. Shanks, you must calm down. Bay 243 Kerman walked to Shanks's side and said solemnly, very seriously. What? Shanks was taken aback, then smiled and said, she is just a little girl. How can I get angry because of her? Beckman's expression is still serious. I'm not talking about this. If the person in front of you dies, you must stay calm. Die. Buggy can't die. Shanks looked at Buggy who was screaming in pain on the ship in the distance. 3 days ago, Shanks saw Buggy's boat, but Shanks was not in a hurry to meet Buggy, just followed from a distance to see when Buggy found him, that was the surprise at that time. Can be followed for 3 days. Shanks discovered that Buggy's old problem of loving treasure remained unchanged, and after losing the captain's management, he completely released himself. 3 days. Shanks watched Buggy rob 2 villages from a distance, ruined half of the town, and killed many people. He did not stop. As Garp said, bad guys don't need sympathy, but family members are different. Buggy, in Shanks's heart, is his family, brother. Robbing treasures, burning and looting, is Buggy's choice and Buggy's freedom. Shanks didn't want to stop the brother's choice. But today there was an accident. A little girl actually injured Buggy badly with a knife, and also chopped off Buggy's head. Must stop. So he motioned to Usopp to fire and bounced off Kuina's spiritual blade. Shanks frowned slightly. How can a knife hurt Buggy? Even I can't hurt him with a knife. Chop Chop Fruit is a swordsman nemesis, which is recognized by all members of the Roger Pirates. The purpose of slashing is to split apart, but the root of Chop Chop Fruit is splitting, and the two oppose each other. The little girl in front. The knife cut off Buggy's hand, making Buggy uncomfortable and incomprehensible. Die. Ignoring the AHFH, red hair pirates that came in the distance, Kuina jumped up from the sea again and slashed towards Buggy. As Belmere said, the clown Buggy is one of East Blue's worst pirates. In Kuina's heart, he must die. Kill him. Little Nami, surprised by Belmere, also picked up a knife of the dead Murloc and ran to the coast to cheer for Kuina. Full of guts. It will die, I want to run. Seeing Kuina hacking again, Buggy was completely frightened that he would die. Brush. The whole body was torn apart. Turned into fragments, flying towards the approaching red hair pirates. Shanks, you be ********D, come and save me quickly. Buggy didn't care about the grudge between the two of them, life was crucial. Not good. When the body flew 200 meters away, Buggy was full of tension. At present, Buggy's ability range is 200 meters with a foot as a radius. If it exceeds 200 meters, it will not die, but it will be out of control. The most important, the feet must be on the ground when splitting. That is, the feet are still in place. Devil fruit, humph. Watching Buggy fly away, Kuina looked at the feet left on the boat again. Cut directly in the past. It directly smashed Buggy's feet, and the sole on them was shattered. My feet ah 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 ah. Feeling the pain in his feet, Buggy roared again, his eyes white. Enough. Shanks let out a loud shout. The terrifying conquerors swept out, like a thunder burst, swept over in an instant. Advertisement. Pop it. Black and red lightning raged across the void, and conquerors blinked across thousands of meters. Thump thump. Little Nami and other villagers from Kokoshimura, each Byakugan turned over, and fainted on the ground one after another. At the same time, Shanks jumped in the air as if stepping on the moonwalk, grabbed the buggy who had lost the ability to control the regrouping due to a distance of 200 meters, and returned to the ship again. Hear him. Handing Buggy, who was convulsing in pain, to the crew, Shanks calmly looked at Kuina who was not affected by conquerors hundreds of meters away. The rest of the crew also got up and watched Kuina with the captain. For a time, the air freezes, and on the hidden merchant ship, Hyuga Hanabi retreated pain and said, "The pirate is the pirate." The red nose didn't come to stop him when he robbed the Kokoshia village. He only jumped out when he was killed. What did he do earlier? Makoto looked at the downloaded files on the phone and saw Shanks's message. Redhead Shanks, Grandmaster Swordsmanship and Conqueror's Hockey have fought the New World big pirates many times. They left the chaotic New World this year and wandered everywhere. I used to be an intern on the Roger pirate ship. Hearing this, Hyuga Hanabi clenched his fist and said, "What Roger? I am afraid that he is alive, and don't want to bully Kuina." If it weren't for Kuina still stalking, Hanabi rushed forward. In the silence of the audience, Kuina said indifferently, "Robbery the villagers and destroy the town, shouldn't he die? Or you should die too." Boom. When she turned around, Kuina smashed Buggy's boat to pieces, and under Shanks's gaze, she killed the pirates who had fallen into the sea. Why is this girl so bloodthirsty? Shanks frowned. 11 or 2 years old, shouldn't they eat, drink and have fun? Beckman said solemnly, "The people of the Empire cannot be treated with common sense. The best strategy right now is to take your friends and leave immediately. Although no other empires have been seen so far. But if you provoke one, you may provoke a bunch of them, which is far more troublesome than encountering Marine." 07. Shanks chose to listen to Beckman. Buggy is understandable by his brothers. For those pirates who do evil with Buggy in East Blue, Shanks cares about him life and death. Titicaca. But when he was about to sail, Kuina had killed all the pirates and stomped over the sea. She really wants to kill us. Noting the killing intent in Kuina's eyes, the crew of red hair pirates were shocked. The captain's conquerors just now is obvious, isn't she afraid of death? Beckman took a breath and said calmly, "That kind of look is not to kill us, but to kill all the pirates." Stop it. When Shanks opened his mouth, he drew a knife with his right hand and slashed towards the sea. Boom. Under Kuina's breath, a terrifying slash cut directly into the sea between her and the pirate ship. A bottomless abyss appeared. This slash is far stronger than his father. I can see the confusion in your heart. It should be because you just went to see a lot of evil pirates. So I think the pirates deserve to die. After retracting the knife, Shanks said loudly, "It is undeniable that 99% of pirates are evil, but there are always pirates who go to sea for freedom. I won't say anything to make you more tolerant of the pirates, but you are still young and can't let the killing affect your character. The killing intent is too heavy, you can't control it. Sail." Shanks motioned for the crew to set off. Not to mention that he has not yet reached the top, and he is not 4 emperors. Even if he becomes 4 emperors, Shanks does not want to provoke the empire. "I'm done talking nonsense." After a moment of silence, Kuina's heart calmed down, and she said coldly, "You haven't answered my question yet, shouldn't that red nose deserve to die?" Shanks was silent. From the perspective of East Blue civilians, Buggy who was robbed and destroyed everywhere and died 10,000 times is not enough. "But," Shanks said solemnly, "the pirate who committed evil deserves to die, but the brother is different, he is my brother." Service. Kuina held the spirit blade in both hands again, and said flatly, "Don't think that you are a good person to talk about loyalty. Let him go today, and tomorrow he will kill more people." Brush. Kuina Linksy paving the way, and volleyed a dozen meters of sword pressure. Shanks waved his hand and directly collapsed Kuina's slash. "Today I must take Buggy away." Sail. Shanks are like an insurmountable barrier. No matter how Kuina attacked, he couldn't get close to Buggy. What? At the next moment, Shanks' body stagnated. Beckman and others were also shocked, because their movements were messed up and completely out of control. "You did it after all, Makoto. I just can't see." A group of adults bullied a little girl. Chance. Kuina's gaze narrowed and she passed Shanks. Stabbed with one knife. Clown Buggy's head. Boom. With the explosion of spiritual power, Buggy's soul was directly shattered. Buggy. The angry Shanks directly broke out all of Conquerors. Many crew members passed out on the spot, and the deck was tearing apart. Buzz. Also at the same moment, a terrifying coercion came, and the Conquerors of Shanks collapsed. Titicaca. The overwhelming coercion caused Shanks, Beckman and other officials to kneel or lie on the ground, their eyes full of shock. What momentum is this? Knowing that Kuina is an empire, and still blocking, then you have to pay the price for your choice. At this moment, the game begins. Shanks and others were shocked. This kind of domineering voice full of panic and majesty made their souls tremble. What game? Chapter 54. Makoto slaughters red hair pirates, just struggle in despair. Advertisement. Who is it? All members of red hair pirates were shocked. They were like ants. Conquerors was suppressed. Shanks has a great sense of oppression in his spiritual will, and he can't even use conquerors, so he can only kneel. Beckman couldn't help smiling wryly. He has always felt that in sailing at sea, in addition to strength, wisdom is the most important thing. Such as the end of rocks, the dismal ending of Golden Lion and so on. If you can be more stable and plan carefully, you may not be able to achieve higher. But at the moment, any wisdom looks so pale and weak in front of absolute strength. You blocked Kuina for 3 minutes. The majestic voice sounded again, and the hearts of all members of Red Hair Pirates became tense. Makoto will attack you for 3 minutes. This is a death survival game. Question mark question mark question mark. Everyone was shocked. So simple. Even if Beckman's clear brain didn't turn around, they are Red Hair Pirates. Although it is still not as good as the Overlords of New World, they are indeed the strongest pirate group. Give them a few more years to grow. Will not be afraid of any other pirate overlord, and even become the overlord of the new generation. 3 minutes. As long as it wasn't for the threat of horror, even if Hyuga Hinata came, they thought they could last for 3 minutes. This kind of little game. Why doesn't it have anything to do with the word survival death? Wow, isn't the next scene very tragic? Hyuga Hanabi on the boat looked like watching a play. Your Majesty's minigames were simply terrifying. Uchiha Makoto. Ultimate danger under gentle beauty. Buzz. Lan Yu took Kuina back to the boat, and said flatly. Makoto, take it. Yes, Your Majesty. When the gentle Makoto stood up, his eyes became cold instantly. Buzz. Lan Yu's pressure dissipated, and all members of Red Hair Pirates felt extremely relaxed. All imprisonment disappeared. Escape, Shanks shouted. Regardless of whether the game is simple or not, since the opponent has said it for 3 minutes, that kind of overlord will certainly not lose faith. Let him block for 3 minutes. Let the crew escape collectively. Next, Shanks, me too. Shanks and Beckman spoke at the same time, and the two are going to block together for 3 minutes. Although the strength of the two has not reached the peak, even if they meet Garp and Whitebeard, it is not too difficult to last 3 minutes, right? Boom. The words have not fallen yet. Makoto's Reiatsu erupted, and the red-haired crew was shocked, and the sea in front was directly shattered by the momentum. Hey, a figure appeared in the sky, with white wings emerging from behind, and a golden light that made it hard to look directly at it. End of the Eucharist. Open. Boom. Makoto's strength is fully liberated. In an instant, all the redheads felt a terrifying beast across the audience in an instant. Shanks and Beckman, who were just about to take action, felt that their movements were even more stagnant. Thump thump. One by one ordinary crew members fell, but Beckman and other cadres were distraught. Dead. Dead. Shanks looked at the fallen crew member, seeing, hearing and perceiving the past. 90% of people. He completely lost his voice. There is no injury on the outside, as if the soul is shattered, and there is no chance to struggle. I was directly shocked to death by Reiatsu. A laser beam struck the void. At the moment when the cadres were stagnant, they were wearing sunglasses, a white shirt, and a red dragon tattoo on their right neck. Was directly penetrated through the body. Boom. The whole body exploded, and the blood mist swayed, leaving Shanks in a daze again. The dead cadre also died. Boom. Another beam came. There is a scar on the left forehead, and the cadre in the black jacket and trousers exploded again. The second cadre, die. This is not going to last 3 minutes. It's a slaughter for 3 minutes. This sentence exploded in Beckman's mind, full of shock. All the ordinary crew members were wiped out in an instant, and 2 cadres died instantly. In those 3 minutes, how many people would have to die? Ah! Shanks roared angrily, all conquerors exploded, and the sky and the sea were boiling. Bow dow, cut. While drawing the sword, Shanks merged with energy and spirit, and slashed a powerful and terrifying slash towards the sky. Not good. At the same moment, Shanks noticed that Makoto glanced at him. That's it. He lost control of his body and was forced to change the direction of his attack. Enforced. From chop to Makoto. Become. Cut to the companion. Tear. A terrifying slash that was as grand and majestic as a black moon over 1,000 meters, Shanks lost control and directly rushed to several cadres. A cadre with a bald head and a monkey on his back. A cadre with long yellow hair and a pirate hat. A cadre with dark red hair and fangs. Boom Sila. The 3 cadres were like puppets being manipulated, without any chance to escape, and were directly overwhelmed by Shanks' slash. Die, die, die. When 3 more cadres died or were killed by his own attack, Shanks' brain went blank. How could there be such a thing? How does this make him accept? Boom. Usopp fired a shot into the sky in an instant, and the bullet quickly attacked Makoto. It will definitely succeed. It will definitely succeed. What has her attention just been distracted by the captain? As Usopp thought about it, the armed bullets entangled in midair at an unbelievable angle. Turn instantly. Advertisement. And flew back at a faster speed. Boom. It was another shot. This was Beckman's shot. Instead of attacking Makoto, he directly smashed the bullet that flew back. Shanks. While attacking, Beckman screamed. Now is not the time to be sad, to resist. Rebel against that horrible woman. Abandon your wives and children and pursue freedom. Usopp glanced indifferently, as far as Makoto knew. Others do not say. From a woman's point of view, this man with yellow curly hair, who looks like a tangled fish, is a complete scum. Come to East Blue this time. Have you visited the graveyard of your lonely son and your wife who has died of illness? Die. Makoto slowly raised his hand, aimed at Usopp. Stop it. Shanks and others screamed and attacked, but under Makoto's enforcement, they couldn't do any counterattack at all. The body shape and the state of exercise, master is in the hands of Makoto. Shit. In the eyes of the few remaining people in Beckman's painful eyes. Usopp couldn't hide, couldn't even lift the gun, and directly suffered the change of body shape under the enforcement. Whole body, like twists, strangled into a ball. Usopp. Die. Retreat. Stay away from her. Depressing the grief, Beckman shouted, and he discovered that the entire red hair pirates seemed to have entered a forbidden area. In other words, the field is forcibly controlled. Among them, they can only become lambs to be slaughtered. Beckman believes that any ability has an upper limit, and the opponent's may be the upper limit of the range. Ah, in retreat, Shanks roared with pain and unwillingness. Why is there such a result? He obviously didn't do anything to Kuina, he just prevented the opponent from killing Buggy. He didn't even hurt Kuina's hair. The man who had never appeared in terrorism was so overbearing. He blocked for 3 minutes. 0. Look for flowers. The other party sent someone to slaughter for 3 minutes. Who would have thought of such a game? Now that this game is horrible again, what did you do earlier? Hyuga Hanabi snorted coldly. She could see clearly, everyone in a relaxed posture before Makoto attacked. The beauty of thinking. Dreaming. It's not a small gap with today's Whitebeard, Kaido, and the 3 aunts. Lan Yu saw the strength of the red hair. Anything that breaks off the left hand and is stronger is all nonsense. Even if the original trajectory, after the red hair breaks his hand, it will take 6 or 7 years to get to the top of the 4 emperors. Then spend a few more years to stabilize. 6 years, enough to make the 27-year-old redhead, soaring strength by 2 or 3 small steps. Now, not enough. Lan Yu's meritocracy. It means that among the people of the empire, regardless of their character, appearance, culture, gender, etc., they have enough talents to get to the top. The premise of everything is, the opponent has joined the empire. Nowadays, Lan Yu only selects talents from the people of the empire and gives them rights. Did not join, regardless of whether you live or die. Buggy was hacked to death by Kuina. It can only be said that Buggy's strongest lucky charm failed. During the robbery, he encountered Kuina who was hostile to the pirates. Even if Buggy is lucky enough to join the empire, he will not meet Lan Yu's talent standards. Redhead, Beckman. They did not join the empire. And before joining the empire, he chose to block Kuina. In Lan Yu's eyes, it was the empire and the opposition. If you are right, you have to pay the price. If you change the time and place, Buggy and Shanks will encounter differently, but there is no if. Pull the distance. It's a good strategy, but it's ridiculous. Makoto's enforcement is to force 2 words. Any external nerve contact, regardless of your strength, as long as it does not exceed Makoto's strength too much, it will be controlled. The distance is the limit. But how far can the red hair and others retreat on the boat? Even if they use the same ability as Moonwalk to retreat in the sky, they can't run far. Makoto is faster. Brush. In a flash. Came to the sky above only 3 people. The Great Sun, while controlling all the trajectories of Shanks, Beckman, and Lackey Lu that are left, prevent them from counter-attacking. On one side, Makoto summoned a huge spiritual bow in midair with many arrows shaped like a giant spear. Not good. The moment when I saw the great sacred bow. The expressions of the 3 Beckmans changed drastically. It was the terrifying blow that Tsunade bombed the Black Ape Admiral during the Marine promotion ceremony. Even the Udemons knelt. How should they stop? Quack. Several giant spears landed like laser cannons. The 3 of them were submerged in an instant. Boom boom boom. The Redford was the first to be blown up and shattered to pieces. Boom. A blood mist exploded. I don't know whose body was crushed. Red hair pirates, there are only 2 people left at most. It exploded for 2 or 3 minutes one after another. A terrible abyss appeared in the sea below, forming a huge whirlpool, swallowing all the debris. Sacrifice yourself and let the other 2 escape from the bottom of the sea. Makoto perceives clearly. When the big sage fell, the fat man stood in front of Shanks and Beckman, and broke out a tyrannical and armed blockade. He died on the spot. But he also bought time for the 2 behind him and escaped to the bottom of the sea. Struggle in the despair of the rest of your life. Makoto retracted his hand. It's 3 minutes. People who are alive are more painful than death. Red hair pirates will either sink in this way, or Jedi will move to new heights. That's not what Makoto is interested in. Just when Makoto was about to retreat, he looked into the distance again, and there was a loud drink from the distance. Damn red hair. You lied to my grandson to be a pirate. I want to kill. What? The ship exploded. Chapter 55. 5 elders only 2 left. Lan Yu gathers 3 states of East, West, and South. Advertisement. Are you a pirate again? Hearing a loud roar in the distance, Kuina colded her face again. She has no good feelings for pirates. Hanabi blinked and said, no, this time it's Marine. Marine. Kuina hasn't seen it yet. It turned out to be him. Makoto stood in the sky. Looking calmly into the distance, there is a marine ship with a dog head-shaped bow slowly approaching. The person above. It was at the age of 40 that he blocked the Rocks pirates' attack alone in the Valley of Gods and protected celestial dragons and the people. He and Roger teamed up to destroy Rocks pirate and was praised as a marine hero by the world. Tekken Garp. What's the matter? Why did the red-haired ship blow up suddenly? From afar, Garp stood on the boat with a solemn expression of surprise. Red hair pirates. Was it annihilated by others? After receiving the news that the red hair appeared east blue, Garp immediately took time off and went home to see. The grandson he could see was greatly affected by the red hair. He wore a straw hat and shouted that I would become the One Piece. No matter how you hit it, it's useless. It's like being poisoned. You can only throw it on the mountain and let your grandson go with another dry grandson. And Garp has been hunting down red hair pirates. But now, seeing the red force explode from a distance, Garp's anger stopped. This is East Blue. Although the strength of the red-haired boy has not reached its peak, it is impossible for 273 to be planted in East Blue. Garp was uncertain, seeing, hearing, and perceiving all directions from a distance, finally perceiving the powerful aura in the sky and seeing Makoto. Boom. While Garp was still analyzing and thinking about Makoto's identity, there was a sudden roar. Don't get in the way of miscellaneous fish. The majestic voice resounded across the sky. When Garp looked over, the whole person is dull. Marines on the sea opened their eyes wide and stared at the sky in horror. Boom. A huge palm that was more than 1,000 meters long, filled with terrible energy, collapsed the sky and covered the sky, and the sun attacked them. Your Majesty took action. Makoto and Hanabi were surprised. This extremely pure spiritual power palm affected the surrounding space. No one in this world can avoid it. Not good. Looking at the palm of his hand, there was a distorted space where he passed, and Garp was careless in his heart. Boom. The armament turned into an eruption of ocean tide, which directly swept the entire ship and covered it. While defending the ship, Garp slapped his strongest blow. Life is back. Fist bone meteor group. His body was full of rhythms of life, and Garp burst out with hundreds of punches in an instant. A series of huge boxing strength turned into a torrent and rushed to the attacking spiritual power giant Hall. What shocked Garp was, his attack was like a moth to a fire, and it was destroyed the moment it touched the huge palm. Move, can't move. Garp discovered something more terrifying, the space was distorted, and he couldn't move at all. Boom. The monstrous giant palm submerged and covered the entire ship, smashing all the weapons and defenses. The sea water instantly dyed red. All of Garp's consciousness plunged into darkness on the spot. It's just right. Lan Yu raised his palm slightly and glanced in the direction of red line. Wow. The spiritual palm did not disappear, and rose again from the sea, holding Garp the size of an ant in his palm. Lan Yu waved his hand slightly. He threw Garp directly out, turned into a stream of light, and disappeared all the way through the void. Kuina, what do you think of East Blue? Lan Yu looked at Kuina, whose eyes were lost, and woke up immediately after hearing the sound. Kuina meditated. Your Majesty, East Blue is too messy and should be cleaned. Yes, in Lan Yu's view, the civilians of East Blue are living in hell compared to the civilians of North State today. Same goes for West Blue, South Blue. Boom. There was a roar in the red line area where the newly built Mariajoy was located. Countless people were awakened instantly. Who? The 4 old stars were frightened and angry. The 4 golden old stars disappeared instantly. After a while, the 4 old blonde stars returned, throwing an almost non-human figure on the ground, and said in a deep voice, can you believe it? The sound just now was the sound of Garp hitting the red line, starting from that level of damage. Garp's speed is far beyond imagination. He definitely didn't hit him, but according to my judgment, it may have been thrown from a very far distance by an extremely powerful person. What? This is Garp. The other 4 old stars were shocked. This man lying on the ground, covered in blood and mist, with a twisted body and a tragic body, is Garp. Who can beat him like this? Whitebeard, Newgate. Lousy can't do it. The bones are mostly broken, the spirit and will are immersed, and the blood loss is too much. The 4 old stars with long beard walked over to check, and said in a deep voice, except for the injuries caused by the impact, it is like being squeezed out of the hand by a giant in an instant. Moreover, this giant is far more powerful than Garp, beyond our imagination. The 4 old stars are solemn. Although they don't like the maverick Garp, but now they desperately need Garp's combat power. No loss is allowed. If you rely on marine treatment and his own strong vitality to recover, you will not be able to recover in a few years. Even if he recovers, the dark wounds are all over his body, it will be difficult for him to exert his full strength. Hearing the 4 old stars with a long beard say so, the 8 character who 4 old stars walked over with great ease. What kind of injury is this kind of injury? The 8 character Huxi old star is extremely self-confident. As long as I am not dead, I can be saved. Marine should thank me. Sengoku, Aokiji and Garp are all saved by me. Between words, 8 character who see Lao Xing exudes an emerald green halo. It was the aperture seen by the 3rd Tsunade daughter who robbed naval headquarters and left. Not the fruit of life. It's not about restoring the fruit. Advertisement. Paramesha. Reject the fruit. There are inspiring fruits that inspire inspiring potential and courage, and the fruit of refusal by Hushi Lao Xing in the 8 character has been developed by him. Inside the emerald green aperture. Reject the attack outside the aperture to form a defense, reject all the bad effects inside the aperture for repair, and refuse the combination of substances outside the aperture to attack. As it is now, the 8 character who see Lao Xing refused all the bad influences on Garp. It will bring Garp back to before the injury. This cannot be explained by the degree of time restoration and spatial restoration, and it has touched the realm of gods. You deserve to refuse the injury I hit. Just when the old star of the 8 character who she was about to refuse all the injuries on Garp's body, a majestic and domineering voice exploded in the hall. An enemy is coming. The look of the 4 old stars changed drastically. Space barrier. The 4 old golden stars opened an invisible barrier to protect everyone without even thinking about it. Paramesha. Space fruit. Literally, to mobilize and manipulate the power of the space that one's own strength can withstand. Boom. What shocked the 4 old stars was the ever unfavorable space barrier suddenly shattered. This is impossible. The 4 old blonde stars couldn't believe it. Buzz. Void. A few meters-sized spiritual palm appeared out of thin air, and grabbed the 8 character Hou Lao Xing. Stop him. The 4 old blonde stars burst out with a shout. The power of space is used to advance, but at the moment of advance, it is directly wiped out by a stronger force of space. Boom. Under the shocking eyes of the 4 old stars with long beard and bald head. 4 old stars with blonde hair. Most of his body was swallowed directly by the broken space beside him, and he was completely tattooed, and the blood mist rose to 0. How could it be? The long beard and bald old star was dull. The 4 golden old stars with space fruits died in the broken space. Boom. There was another crackling sound. When the 2 of them looked at it, the 8 character Hou Lao Xing who was being held was directly pinched and exploded. Dead on the spot. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. 4 old stars with long beard and bald head. The brain is blank. One attempted to treat Garp, another attempted to block it, and it all died. Whoever does it will die. The existence of terror is extremely domineering. This is the thought of the 2 at the moment. Puff, puff. A kind of ultimate fear came from the bottom of my heart, and the 2 highest powers of celestial dragons were actually on the ground in horror. Once 5 elders. Now there are only 2 people left. Hey, you really look like 2 dogs. When the overbearing and disdainful voice fell, the space in the hall was restored, and the spiritual palm disappeared. As if nothing happened just now. East Blue. Seeing Lan Yu waved his hands twice and whispered, Makoto was a little curious. Your Majesty, what did you just do? I didn't do anything just now. Killing the 2 scumbags, Lan Yu didn't care at all, it's not worth mentioning, and then said. Just do something now. Under the female side's eyes. Lan Yu got up and flew out of East Blue and came to the dividing line of the world, above the red line. The 9-star me, just can do it. Lan Yu's perception limit extends. Perception falls in East Blue, West Blue, and South Blue, which are completely covered. 6 paths. Although Zhuxinglin is currently unable to strike a star, it is no problem to clean the surface of the world with 1 strike. Same. Can also do what Lan Yu is going to do. Fantasy gravity amplification. Based on his own strength, Lan Yu fantasizes about gravity, and uses Hitachi Tsukumo's sacred characters to amplify this gravity. Quack quack. Gravity turns into billions of chains. Swept every island in the land of 3 seas. Boom. The roar of tens of thousands of islands was heard by North Blue and Grand Line people. After all, Grand Line is in the middle of the world. What happened? In the first half of the Grand Line, Crocodile in Alabasta rushed out of the room. Look left, look right. This sound seems to be far, far away. Sand Crocodile was a little shocked. 5.7. Could it be that in the first half of the Grand Line, East Blue and South Blue outside the Calm Belt had an accident? What sound? In the second half of the Grand Line, Whitebeard frowned and looked in the direction of West Blue. Such a shock was passed over the Calm Belt and reached here. What happened to West Blue? This is. The strong of the North Blue Empire is also eye-catching. Boom. The 3 seas in the east, west and south are the most shocking. Everyone found that the island they were on was shaking, as if there was an earthquake. Next moment, countless people saw it in shock. The island they were on, as well as countless islands, all flew up, flying to the center of their respective sea areas. Combine. A word. Blast the land of the 3 seas. Blast all over the world. This word also shocked countless careerists. Isn't this the voice of the unseen emperor of the Holy Empire when Beijo was born 7 years ago? Your Majesty is gathering the islands of the 3 seas. East Blues Makoto and others, as well as the people of the empire in the sea, were shocked. Boom. When the last roar sounded, the whole world fell silent. Countless people completely lost their voices. Like North Blue North State. The vast tri-state land once again appeared in Qinghai. 1 route to 4 continents in Qinghai. The imperial troops obeyed the order and won Dongzhou, Shizhou, and Nanzhou, and those who resist will be killed without mercy. Yes, Your Majesty. Chapter 56. The Grand Line is shocked, the Empire is conquering the East and the South Seas. Advertisement. Attacking East, West and South continents. Hi, 4 continents, it's horrible. The Holy Empire Emperor is definitely not a human being, he. The whole world was shocked at this moment. Far more shocked than the birth of North State 7 years ago, Whitebeard was shocked with a tingling scalp. The roar just now, if it weren't for Lan Yu's words echoing the world in the sky. Then he could not even dream of it. It turned out to be the Emperor of the Holy Empire, gathering all the islands in the 3 seas of East Blue, West Blue, and South Blue. The whole process. No more than half a minute. What kind of strength is this? It's over. It's all over. The naval headquarters in the first half of the Grand Line also heard the roar and Lan Yu's command to attack Sanjo. Don't say anything else. What about Marine in the 3 great oceans? The dominance of the Empire was fully demonstrated in North Blue in the first 7 years. All forces. Whoever you are, if you don't accept it, you will die. It took a whole year or 2 to completely stabilize North Blue. All forces in the land of the three seas will surely usher in bloody suppression. The order goes on. As the marshal, Sengoku had to remain calm at all times, but his voice was still beautiful. Transfer to Marine, the branch of the East, West, and South Seas, release. Give up resistance and surrender. Wow, the generals were astonished. But they couldn't refute it. As for the Marines in the Sanhai branch, resisting is death, meaningless. The headquarters simply cannot divide the army into reinforcements. World government. What prestige is there now? Crane said solemnly. Garp, still in East Blue, Akainu, in South Blue. 07. Sengoku's expression stagnated, but what the generals didn't expect was that Garp was seriously injured and dying at Mariajoy, and 5 elders died with him. Let them surrender. Sengoku finally gave the order. Although Marine has scum, it is not much compared to the overall Marine. Sengoku does not want those Marines who fight for justice to die. Marine's main combat power. All are on the Grand Line. As for Akainu, I hope he can escape when the Empire blocks South Blue. Ooh. At this moment, many cadres of the Revolutionary Army finally broke down and wept. Even Dorag couldn't help but his eyes flushed. Are they easy? 7 years ago, it was a small force and was not regarded by any big force. But 7 years have passed. They have achieved little success. Yan Ran has become the second most important cause outside the Holy Empire that the world government pays attention to. But when their painstakingly general revolutionary army grew a little bit stronger, they were directly cut in half. Heartache. Grief. Wanna die. Although the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army is on the Grand Line, they have been developing all over the world. Now that the 4 seas are lost, are you going to the Grand Line to develop the Revolutionary Army? Do not make jokes. The second half is full of monster pirates, and the first half is full of Marine and CP members. The current Revolutionary Army is not enough. Go out. I want to be quiet. Dorag was heartbroken and couldn't breathe, and for a while, he was full of confusion about the future. Surrender. Empire. Ah, I am not alone in the Revolutionary Army. Dorag was bitter. It's true that he is the leader, but he is not the leader of a country. He is what he says. Not everyone is willing. Put your own efforts to make people. This is human nature. What if he shoots Grand Line? All pirates' dreams are completely broken. Whitebeard, who usually laughs boldly, can't laugh at this moment. His face has a dignity that has not been seen in decades. To know. In terms of area, any sea area in the 4 seas is larger than the area of the entire Grand Line. Beishu was born 7 years ago. What people see in the world is that Golden Lion and Hinata have made a lot of effort and contributed a great foundation for the birth of Beishu. The Emperor of the Holy Empire. Just came to take a firm stand. From it, we can't tell how strong the Emperor is. But the roar just now. All show the terrifying non-human strength of the Holy Empire Emperor. Damn it, you can't do this. Damn, you can't let the islands of the Grand Line fit together. After Charlotte Linlin and Kaido recovered, their fear was full of anger. Just forget about the land of the 4 seas. Grand Line is the journey of the pirates, and conquering the Grand Line is one piece. Mom, calm down. Boss, I really can't be impulsive this time. The little brothers on both sides persuaded them one after another. They no longer cared about the angry aunt and Kaido, and they had to stop it. Can be one time. Merged 3 large sea islands. God knows the strength of the opponent. But it must be better than his own mother and boss, otherwise the monsters of the empire can't be controlled. Think too much. If Lan Yu knew what Kaido and others thought, he would definitely dismiss it. Qinghai area. The biggest feature is not the thousands of islands in the sea, but the Grand Line. The pirates are thinking about how to find the ultimate island within. What Lan Yu thought was how to develop the Grand Line into an adventure land for the people of the empire, a new 5A class tourist route. Therefore, Lan Yu will not merge the islands of the Grand Line, otherwise the world will lose its characteristics and become mediocre. Forbidden ha 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 ha. After 7 years of rest, is it finally Laozi's turn to take action? North State, inside the Saint Soldiers training camp. Advertisement. Shiki laughed full of golden lions. But Obito heard a different voice. You can rest for another 10 years. Captain, don't forget that your period of weakness has not passed. Golden Lion. Today's Golden Lion is the weakest squad leader of the Holy Soldiers, and it is the result of credit. Because he opened up a period of weakness that broke out dozens of times his strength, it will take about 10 years to pass. At present, it can also exert the strength of ordinary supernova pirates. The Holy Soldiers gather. Kakashi's voice came from a distance. Then came Kushina's voice. Imperial armies, gather together. What? Are the 3 armies of the Empire also here? In the vast training base of Beijo, when the sage troops assembled, they couldn't help looking not far away. Remove the Holy Soldiers of the original ninja and heaven. The sage soldiers of Qinghai have never seen the 3 imperial armies. The 3 armies of the Empire, it is said that there are many strong men comparable to the captain. Ruluo, Hawkins, Drake, Reiju, etc. looked over and they were all speechless. A space portal. 3 torrents of white, black, and blue gush out, densely packed in uniform. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Too much. As far as the number of people is concerned, the 10,000 sacred troops are completely incomparable with the 3 armies. 300,000 3 armies of the Empire were formed by the combination of the 2 circles. In fact, it was very rare. For example, an Alabasta has a standing army of 600,000. But the two are not at the same level. Lan Yu only needs elite soldiers. Don't watch. If you are there, you may also enter the armed forces in the future. Hyuga Hinata watched the third team speak. The generals of the three armies of the empire, large and small, basically went out to serve from the elites of the sacred troops. The main responsibilities of the sacred troops: guard the imperial capital and train talents for the three armies in important positions throughout the empire. So, in addition to the captain of the squadron, the sacred troops are replaced every year, because those who leave either go to the three armies, or go to other departments, or become the guardian party such as the chief of the Shi, the lord, or the governor. You have all heard your majesty's order. Leave a part of the holy soldiers to guard the north state, and the remaining holy soldiers and the three imperial armies will attack the east, south, and west continents. Each captain will lead the arrangements by admiral. Rebels, kill without mercy. Secretary General Athena stood on the high platform and read, and finally shouted. For the glory of the empire. The holy soldiers and the three armies also shout. For the glory of the empire. Set off. The captains and generals of the three armies discuss the division of the army. The three-way space portal opens. All troops entered in an orderly manner and reached the coast of Sanjo. Conan looked at Kushina. Senior Shumao, didn't they come? She did not see the other senior officers of the armed forces. Kushina explained. Basically, I practiced in the world of Wonquan with the two marshals. As for Sister Kagaya, I went to attack other planets alone. It cannot be said to be an attack. It can only be said that Kei Yoruichi killed each of the life planets, and killed the Otsutsuki clan. Well, just leave it to us. Conan didn't ask too much. The new three continents land, there will be no surprises. Blocked by any forces. All have to die. Sister Tien, can I go with the army? Hancock walked over and whispered to Tien's side. You. Looking at the charming Hancock, Hinata thought for a while, his eyes lit up and said, I will give you a task. Hancock was curious. What mission? Don't you want to have a good relationship with your majesty, and then find a backer so that I can call your sister? It depends on your performance. Hinata's words. Hancock was puzzled. What is the mission? The task of warming the couch. Quote question mark question mark question mark question mark quote. You are waiting for your majesty's return in North State. There is no better way to get closer to each other than to warm your majesty. Ah, concubine body is so nervous. 300. East Blue. The vast Dongzhou. The whole world knows about the empire. The empire cannot tolerate any other forces. But for civilians, it is simply too much protection, which is far more important than any kingdom in Qinghai. So Dongzhou appeared. The civilians were in a panic for a while, knowing that the Holy Empire was about to attack, and after removing some of the evil party civilians, the rest of the good-hearted civilians quickly settled down. But the rest of the forces, all messed up. The appearance of Dongzhou was too sudden, and no forces had any preparation. Dongzhou was too big, and the major forces in the state couldn't even tell where they were going. Leave it to the Imperial Army. Go to the sea and take the little girl away, and then return to North State. Lan Yu glanced at the chaotic Dongzhou, and said something that made Makoto curious. The little girl in the sea. Is it a mermaid? Upon hearing this, Hanabi murmured, Your Majesty is more and more able to play. With so many beauties in the Empire, they are actually interested in mermaids. Oops. Lan Yu flicked Hanabi's forehead. The kid knows what. Go sailing. They are big. Hanabi wanted to say this. He looked down at himself, then at little Kuina, and then went to sail the boat in despair. Kuina was puzzled. Makoto-sama, why is Sister Hanabi so suddenly lost? Makoto smiled and said. Hanabi thought he was the king, but only after discovering that she was about the same age as you, who was 11 years old, did he realize that he was bronze. What is about my age? Kuina became more confused. Lan Yu has nothing to say. Women, like men, always care about their own size, even though their focus is different. Hey, the merchant ship flew to the Grand Line. At the same time, the space portal of the East Continent is opened, and it is the holy soldiers and 100,000 soldiers of the three armies who were in charge of the East Continent. As soon as he came out, there was a voice that led the king to spread across Dongzhou with the big horn of the Academy of Sciences. Listen to the people of East Blue. From now on, Dongzhou belongs to the territory of the Holy Empire. Unacceptable. Die. Run. Die. Resist. Die. Chapter 57. Naruto. Is Luffy. What do you think you want to be a king? Advertisement. The three armies of the empire. Add sacred troops. Each of the three states dispatched about 100,000 soldiers, and the efficiency was definitely more than 10 times higher than that of taking North State 7 years ago. I have said everything that should be said. If you don't be obedient, just die. Let's start. After Obito shouted, the sacred troops and the 90,000 soldiers of the army began to block the coast and advance inward. Teacher. Holy Empire. Shimotsuki Village. Young Zoro didn't know why he was suddenly excited. I know. Koshiro still has eyes on it. Isshin Dojo. One is not a power defined by the empire, and the other is not a pirate, evil party, etc. He has a clear conscience. Although he has helped the revolutionary army with a lot of food, he is not a revolutionary army. Even if, just exit. So Koshiro didn't worry, and he saw through little Zoro's thoughts at a glance. You see Kuina become stronger in 2 or 3 days, and you are eager to enter the empire and learn how to become stronger quickly. I heard Koshiro say so. Little Zoro nodded calmly, but he explained, I don't think you can teach well, There is no need to explain between you and me. Within 2 or 3 days, Koshiro admired this disciple again and again. In Zoro, he has seen all the outstanding characters of the strong, and he will definitely achieve something in the future. But, Koshiro Mi said with gentle eyes, you don't have any foundation right now. In other words, Kuina is lucky to be taken away and trained, but you are not qualified enough now. Little Zoro was startled. Koshiro said seriously, remember, there is no shortcut to becoming stronger. Kuina just changed a slightly smoother path. She still needs to work hard and work hard. The same is true for you. Now that you know nothing, and you are young, who would waste time teaching you? Let's lay the foundation. As he said, Koshiro patted Zoro on the shoulder. Don't be arrogant and rash, wait for you to become stronger, use your knife to break into the Empire's institution of cultivating the strong, and let them look at you with admiration. Is teacher. Little Zoro cheered up, turned around and ran. Teacher, I'm going to exercise. Call. Koshiro exhaled and chuckled. Children are so foolish. No, I'm encouraging. The children of the Empire are too scary. He just doesn't want little Zoro to be hit. Let's exercise for a few years before going to see it. Little Zoro. I always feel like I missed some great opportunities. At the same time, Konoha Village. Little Nami cheered, bounced and said happily, great, there will be no pirates to bully us anymore, right mother? Yes, the Empire does not allow pirates to exist. Belmere couldn't help but sigh. She also wanted to take Xiaonami and Xiaonoji Gao to live in Beijo, but it was too far to go. Unexpectedly, the body of the dragon pirate group has not yet been cleaned up. The Empire came so suddenly. The Empire is very good to civilians, everything will be fine. Chaos all over Dongzhou. That day, the Empire has advanced 1/20th of the East Continent, showing its strength over East Blue. The forces on the Grand Line also shocked one after another. Because the 3 armies of the Empire appeared for the first time, they sent 300,000 troops directly. Although the number is not large. But everyone knows that the soldiers of the Empire are all elite monsters. Plus the holy soldiers, 310,000 monsters. Who can hold this? Just as the Grand Line was talking about it, newspapers were distributed to Grand Line by spirit birds. There is no need for the 4 Cs. This is the Empire Times. Father, look at it, the big news, it's the newspaper of the Holy Empire. On the Moby DK, Marco exclaimed, but he was also a little speechless. The newspapers of the Empire are too expensive, 10,000 berry, kill people. Kakuzu. Expensive, 10 times next time. Gum, la la la, it turned out to be the newspaper of the Empire. This is the first time I have seen you. Whitebeard looked over and was also surprised, or in other words, everyone who saw the newspaper was shocked. The land of the 4 Seas belongs to the Empire. Red Hair pirates blocked the Imperial Holy Soldiers from killing the pirates and was killed by the Imperial Air Force Admiral Uchiha Makoto in 3 minutes. The captain and deputy captain were seriously injured and fled. Tekken Garp interrupted Your Majesty's travel to Yaxing, and fell. Mariajoy was seriously injured and dying. 5 elders, only 2 left. Don't say the first one. The whole world knows it. The land of the 4 Seas has been included in the scope of the Empire, and no one can stop it. It is only a matter of time before the entire occupation. Any one of the following news was big news that shocked the world, and it was all in one newspaper. The Grand Line was silent. The current redheads are not even the overlord of New World, and there are not many people who follow them. But Garp and 5 elders live and die, this is news that shocked everyone. Shanks, alas, after reading the newspaper, Rayleigh, who was still on vacation in Sabayati, just sighed. Not to mention that the opponent is not dead, even if the opponent is dead, Rayleigh can only sigh. This is Shanks's own choice. Shanks must accept no matter how sad it is, this is the pirate, whose ship is not dead. UB******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* The end Rayleigh smashed the table. The imperial dominance Rayleigh has long been used to it, and now he doesn't think it's wrong, it's just a little distressed that Shanks is overpowered. Still too young. The world, can the government do it? No, just say it. Naval headquarters is sad and confused. The marine heroes are still being saved. They didn't know about 5 elders until now. The upper layer is almost dead. They just know. Kizaru manicured his nails leisurely, and said casually, the Empire is so terrible, let's just join the Empire and kill the pirates together. The audience fell silent. Sengoku shouted, shut up, Pelusolino, what is important now is the military spirit, understand? This kind of thinking is determined not to work. At least, not now. Sengoku bears the lives of countless marines on his shoulders. He is not alone. If he stands in the wrong team, countless people will be buried. For 800 years, Sengoku doesn't believe it will be so fragile. If you are really weak, please speak earlier, don't hurt Marine, okay. Is there any news from 9527? Sengoku gave out the undercover number of Gion, which he made up casually at the time. He shook his head and said, I have never had the opportunity to contact the strongest of the Empire, and there is currently no valuable news. Sengoku was silent. Advertisement. Let's not move. The most anxious one should be the 2 old stars. The old star looked at the newspaper and had nothing to say. Now it's too late to publish the newspaper. The people at Grand Line are not so foolish as people from all over the world. Trust them. Far better than believing in Empire. When I went to see Yim this time, the two had closed doors, and they were obviously extremely disappointed in them. Long beard and bald head. They all doubted whether Yim was considering a replacement, so that the two of them lost their energy, and even bothered to deal with the affairs of the world. Hurry up and destroy it. The second old star's face was scrapped. Lord Yim, we really want to see you again. Can you give me a chance? Dongzhou. The empire is under occupation. There are many squadrons of Saint soldiers sweeping across the sea. After all, they are only islands, and many pirate boats are still floating. A small team just solved an Alvita pirate group, and hacked the female captain to death. Encountered Barati, a sea restaurant. The people above are listening. Pirates, marines, noble gangs, etc. immediately come out and kneel, and those who conceal their identity will be killed. Luo shouted with a trumpet. Barati is in chaos, and there are indeed many pirates here. Damn Luo, can't you just come up and take down everyone? What are you shouting? You are not afraid that the pirates will go crazy and attack people. Luo was stunned by the sound of a sudden and frustrated child from the ship. Drake was surprised. Little Sanji, it's the voice of little Sanji, he is here. It's really surprising. Hawkins smiled calmly. Luo's face was stern. What little Sanji? I didn't hear him calling me AB asterisk 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 D. Give me up and take down everyone above. Smelly brother. Let's talk if we catch you. Good. Hawkins and Drake and the Saints rushed up. 3 under 5 divided by 2. Taking everyone down, the pirate of East Blue was weak and couldn't bear to look straight. Name. Seeing Luo solemnly press him on the ground and ask himself, little Sanji fell in love. It's me, I'm Sanji, Luo. Quote exclamation mark. Luo Shangchen was the back of his head, and said solemnly, the Imperial Saint soldiers do things, don't get close to me, or I will convict you of colluding with the pirates. W. Isn't it just shouting AB asterisk 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 D? Be careful. Vinsmoke Sanji, male, 9 years old, a legal citizen of the Holy Empire, studying arts in East Blue, do I need to see my ID? Master Shungbing. Sanji finished a series of words and looked up at Luo. Zapu murmured from the side. It turns out that you are an Imperial member, and you have to go through it. When you were in a shipwreck, didn't you have nothing on your body? Where did you get the documents? Sanji is a monk again. Luo laughed. If you don't have any documents, you dare to pretend to be an Imperial citizen, and you will be locked up for 3 days before you are tortured. Sanji cried suddenly. This is revenge. At the same time. Goya Kingdom, known as spotless and known as the most beautiful country in East Blue. Because this country perfectly eliminates all unnecessary things, it can be called a successful model of a segregated society. Take down. Here, a sacred army of the empire cleaned this place separately, took over various villages such as Windmill Village, and attacked the palace nobles. Then sweep the mountains. Clean up wherever there are people. Now, Mount Kolbo. Here is the Dayton family of bandits. Dadan, who has a fierce face but is extremely concerned about a few children, is very worried at this moment. Ace did not say. The B asterisk 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 D Garp was thrown to her after Ace was born, and she couldn't refuse. She is offering a reward, but Garp keeps one eye open and closes one eye to their crimes, always threatening her to do things with this. Now Ace is 10 years old. A month ago, 7-year-old Luffy was thrown over. Yesterday, Sabo, who is also 10 years old, also Good Zhao, came here with the two of them. How many children does my old mother want to raise? My old mother is going crazy. Looking at the 3 bear kids robbing meat. Dadan's head is big. Finally there was a roar. Listen to my old lady, the Holy Empire is attacking East Blue, you guys honestly, don't go out to make trouble, you know. Listen, don't go out. Ace frowned. Sabo is thoughtful. No, pirates are the most free. Luffy immediately stood up and shouted. Monkey D. Luffy, but the man who wants to become One Piece, how can I? Boom. Luffy hadn't finished shouting yet. The gate was kicked to pieces by Sasuke. The shocked Dadan directly guarded the 3 children behind him. Sasuke stood outside the door with his arms folded. Naruto yawned and walked in, glanced at Luffy, and said flatly, Monkey D. Luffy is it, you said. What kind of king are you going to be? Since you asked. So, Luffy couldn't help but press the straw hat, raised his head and spoke very seriously. I want to be a pirate. Yahahaha, ridiculous dream. Before Luffy finished speaking, he was interrupted by a disdainful laugh. Noisy. A flash of thunder and lightning. Converging into the figure of Enel. Zuo Ming couldn't help squinting. Why did he come? Kaji. Enel said nothing. Going up is a physical kick, directly flying the Straw Hat Boy, and slamming it into the wall. Luffy. Chapter 58. Enel suppresses the 3 Straw Hat brothers, Lu Bu kills Kid. Advertisement. Saw Luffy being kicked into the air. Sabo and Ace ran to check immediately. You are. Dadan was sweating profusely at the moment, and his eyes were even more horrified. You can't go wrong. The coat of arms is engraved with the emblem of the 5-pointed star that has spread all over the world, people of the Holy Empire. If only so. Dayton will not be afraid, the Empire is unexpectedly good to civilians. But she is a bandit. Even after retiring for many years, it is rumored that the Empire will never allow the existence of thieves, and she is not sure whether the other party will kill herself. Sasuke ignored Dayton and looked at Enel with his arms folded. Why are you here? An intern from the Academy of Sciences. Yahahaha, I haven't seen each other for years, and the two little ghosts have grown up too. Seeing Zuo Ming, who has matured a lot at the age of 20, Enel laughed and retorted. Pay attention to the wording, I am not an intern now, I am the scientific assistant of Senior Yakushi Kabuto, two little sage soldiers, shout loudly. Can you still be a science assistant with this guy? Zuo Ming Enel chose to leave the Holy Soldiers and join the Academy of Sciences 7 years ago. Obito was so angry that it was his soldier. Orochimaru abducted in a few words. Sasuke snorted coldly. Please also pay attention to the words, I am now the team leader. Naruto also smiled and said, same as above. Enel took a closer look at the costumes, and even these two fools can be the team leader. The three raised each other. Damn it, why Luffy? After buckling Luffy from the wall, Ace ran over angrily. But when Zuoming three people glanced. In a flash. Ace felt that he couldn't move anymore, not because of Reiatsu's influence, but as if he had seen a terrifying beast that he had never seen before. He was 10 years old. Suddenly, his whole body was numb with fear. Move up. Damn it, they are all human beings, why should I be afraid of them, am I only this way? Ace suppressed the fear in his heart forcibly, and his body trembled uncontrollably, staring at Zuoming's trio. What? Naruto coughed slightly. The spirit of this 380 child Shiba is very strong, is it going to explode? Boom. An aura came from Ace and swept the audience in an instant. Puff. A member of the Dayton family passed out on the spot. Hey, what is this? Sabo and Luffy's eyes widened, and they felt like they would be unconscious at any moment. So weak conquerors. Zuoming and the three have no waves. In the past few years, they have seen more conquerors owners, but only a few have grown to the top. What a king's posture. It is a special talent. No matter who you are, no one can bully Luffy. As soon as conquerors came out, all the fears were forgotten, and Ace burst out. Kicked towards Enel. Yahahaha. Ridiculous aura, even the two children didn't stunned, and they dared to attack me. Enel kicked over. Bang bang bang. Ace directly knocked Sabo and Luffy into flight, smashing the wall all the way. Sabo. Ace. Luffy yelled from the dust, as if he hadn't suffered any injuries. Whoosh. A fist suddenly extended, rushed out of the dust, and hit Enel directly. This is. Seeing the extended arm, Enel grabbed it, took a closer look, and frowned. Insulator rubber. He came here by accident. It is holding the capable person detector developed by Orochimaru, and is constantly looking for capable persons in East Blue. Once it came to the sky over Goya Kingdom. The detector showed Devil Fruit's special energy fluctuations, so he came. Insulator. Lightning Nemesis. Naruto wasn't a science novice, and looked at Enel and said, you can try to power him up. ZZZ. Just try. Enel grabbed Luffy's hand and began to discharge, and a dense current surged on Luffy's body. I want to fly you. What made Zuoming laugh was that Luffy had nothing to do, and he ran over and threw his fist at Enel. Ridiculous fist. Enel flashed, grabbed Luffy's neck, lifted him up, and said indifferently, do you really think you can insulate my thunder and lightning? Let go of Luffy. Ace and Sabo also rushed over. Pop it. Two thunder and lightning fell, directly numb and black their bodies, and twitched on the ground. Enel also asked, what king did you just say you want to be? I want. Become One Piece. The 7-year-old Luffy was very weak, but still raised his head and said every word. He is serious. His conviction is firm. This is Zuo Ming's thoughts, but the two think it is extremely ridiculous, and they are also a child who has been poisoned by the so-called free tea. Let go of Luffy. Ace's eyes are full of anger, struggling on the ground, as is Sabo. Holding Luffy with one hand and taking Luffy's straw hat with the other, Enel looked at Ace and said, are you going to be the One Piece? Damn it, don't touch my straw hat. Luffy struggled hard, but something that frightened him happened. Boom. A flash of electric light. The straw hat broke directly in Enel's hand and turned into black residue. Luffy was dull. This is his second life, something he swore to protect with his life. Seeing this scene, Ace roared. What kind of ability to bully children? There is a kind of wait for me to grow up, I will defeat you. Sabo didn't speak. He was also dissatisfied in his eyes. Luffy. Dadan was awakened and saw Enel clutching Luffy, and said in shock. What are you going to do? Luffy is still a child. He is still a child. This sentence made Zuoming's trio frown. Moral kidnapping. Sasuke disdainfully said. You know that he is a child, you should understand that once a child's thinking is set, it is difficult to change. When I was so young, I yelled to be the One Piece. It's a curse when I grow up. Everyone can tell, Luffy is extremely persistent to One Piece. Don't say it's 7 years old now. 17 and 27 years old, still will not change, still shouting to be the One Piece. The Empire cannot tolerate thieves. No thief will do. He will change, I will let him change, please let Luffy go. Advertisement. Dadan knelt down full of requests. As he said, Dadan looked at Luffy with great ambition. Child, just say it, you are not the One Piece, you are a good boy. Luffy, they are from the Holy Empire, will you listen to me? Holy Empire. Ace and Sabo panicked, suddenly at a loss. Who didn't know that the Holy Empire hit the pirates hardest and was very hostile to the city? If Luffy says that he is not the One Piece, it is not Luffy. So the two are worried. Luffy shut up. Seeing that Luffy wanted to speak, Ace and Sabo struggled and ran over. They wanted to prevent Luffy from speaking. But, it's too late. I am the man who wants to be One Piece. AHFH, Luffy yelled again stiffly. No one can stop me from becoming the One Piece, because I am the One Piece of the future. How so? Dan's emotional breakdown. She finally made the three of them calm down, and all the requests were in vain. Hey, you are the One Piece. Don't think you are a child, I will not kill you, there is no cure to treat the thief as a glorious idiot. Sasuke said coldly. A spirit blade appeared in his hand, kicked Ace and Sabo away, and walked towards Luffy. Wait. Enel stopped and looked at Luffy with interest. Master Orochimaru said that if you want to change a child's mind, you must be unforgettable. That way, it will be difficult to change again, commonly known as brainwashing. Who changed your mind? Don't say it's Roger One Piece, do you recognize the words in the newspaper? I must hit you. Luffy glanced at Enel angrily. He looked at the shattered straw hat with blank eyes, and cried, Shanks, the hat you gave me is ruined. Shanks. I seem to have heard it before, Enel thought. Naruto said casually, the red-haired captain is the pirate group that was destroyed by Makoto-sama. Red hair. In Zuo Ming's astonishment, Enel shook his hand, and there were 2 wounds on the ground, tied with spiritual power chains, and seriously injured the 2 dying and unconscious. Naling ring. Zuo Ming was full of envy. Is this guy so good at the Academy of Sciences? He even has the Naling ring. Is it him? Enel shook the Naling ring in his hand triumphantly, pointed at a person on the ground and asked. It's a coincidence. After Red Hair Pirates was destroyed by the Makoto group, even though Laluki blocked it last time, Red Hair and Beckman were still seriously injured. I wanted to escape from the bottom of the sea, and then swim to a deserted island. But, Lan Yu aggregates all the islands of East Blue. Where can they swim? Swimming King Rayleigh was able to encounter a shipwreck and was rescued by Xiao Ba. Shanks and Beckman, who were badly injured, couldn't find any place to stay in East Blue. Only 1 Sea Kings can be killed, lying on the Sea King's corpse suspended on the sea, severely injured, physical loss, inner grief, and fainted due to various factors. Enel meets by chance. Spiritual power chain binding. Go into the spiritual ring. Shanks. Luffy exclaimed when he saw the fainted man covered in scars on the ground. He really influenced you, is it such a coincidence? Could it be that I am the chosen one? Enel thought so, and disdainfully said. Brainwashing a kid to be a thief, since your idol is here, let's see his fate. Pot. A long knife of thunder condensed appeared in Enel's hand, extremely sharp. This is the end of being a pirate. After Luffy was sluggish again, Enel's long knife pierced Shanks' head. No. Puff. Go straight through the head. The faint red hair could not resist. Shanks. Die. Dead. Dead. Shanks is dead. The mind was hit like never before. Out of control, Luffy passed out on the spot. Please let Luffy go, he already knows it's wrong. Dan saw that Luffy was in a coma, found a chance, and asked again and again. Damn red hair. Why brainwash Luffy as a pirate? Damn Garp. Why not take care of your grandson? Dan didn't blame Zuoming's trio, and she didn't want Luffy to be a pirate. It was too dangerous, but she couldn't do anything. Don't think it's okay if you are unconscious. Enel threw Luffy to the ground, and Reiatsu burst out. Thump thump. Ace, Sabo, Dan and others all died in a coma. I took these 3 little ghosts away, put them in prison, when to reflect on them, and when to release them. If you are still arguing about being a pirate, then go to death. Enel threw the 3 Straw Hat brothers into the Naling ring, turned into lightning to leave. Naruto was a little surprised. This guy, when was he so kind? Don't talk about anything else, the one named Luffy, I'm sure I'd rather die than change. Since it doesn't change. Damn it then. Wait for him to grow up to be a pirate. Sasuke yelled. I think he is interested in that kid's ability, he is from the Academy of Sciences. Yes, from the Academy of Sciences. Naruto couldn't help shaking. The people there are all demons. Land of Southern State. The 3 imperial armies divided up 100,000 soldiers and swept across the territory. Lu Bu also met a red-haired kid who shouted that I would become One Piece. You sure? Lu Bu asked flatly. 11-year-old Eustace kid with a red-haired hedgehog head proudly said. If you want to hit it, there's so much nonsense. Lousy. Just to be a pirate. Puff. Fang Tian painted a halberd directly across kid. He died on the spot. A good person is improper, you must be a thief and look for death. Lu Bu turned around indifferently. Seeing this scene from a distance, after all, there was still no time to leave Akainu in South Blue, and his expression was uncertain. He wants to go, but it was blocked. Nagato exiting the customs. Chapter 59. Nagato vs Sakazuki, Shameless Kizaru, you must die. Advertisement. You are this world Marine Admiral. Nagato, who had just left Wonquan, heard that Marine Admiral was trapped in South Blue, and rushed over immediately. One of Marine's highest combat power. How could Nagato not be interested? If you don't start in advance, the Yahiko and other animals who have left the border in Wonquan will definitely grab the head. No matter what Akainu did in South Blue, he can only say that he was out of luck. After Lan Yu gathered the 3 sea islands, he was stuck in Nanjo Central. Become a trapped beast. Can't run away. Marine Admiral, Sakazuki. Akainu kept analyzing the possibility of leaving, and finally found that there was no way to go back, and then resolutely spoke. 100,000 soldiers attacked Nanjo, and there were too many strong men to come. Can't escape. Fight then. Just when Akainu was about to do it, Nagato said flatly, Don't you want to know who I am? Humph. Akainu snorted and looked at the badge on Nagato's body and the military rank on his shoulder. The same rank as Kushina who robbed naval headquarters. Empire Admiral, Nagato, my name. In the words, Nagato walked towards Akainu, subordinate to the Holy Empire Marine, Admiral Nagato. Empire Marine Admiral, Akainu was startled, then relieved. Since there is an air force, there is nothing unexpected about an army and a marine. Only. Too much nonsense. Dark Hound. Akainu's lava arm stretched hundreds of meters in an instant, directly attacking Nagato, extremely fast. Boom. A punch pierced Nagato, turning a piece of land into magma behind. Akainu was not happy, seeing and hearing the color and perceiving all directions, and what he had just attacked was the afterimage. Nice ability. With Fei Lian's feet flashing to Nagato on the other side, he slowly said, I have also heard. Your Majesty appraised you as an iron-blooded general, but there is a problem that even kills himself. Imperial law, you must not hurt yourself, understand? What's the meaning? Akainu frowned and said coldly, since you know that I am a soldier, you should understand that first work for Marine and the world government. Don't pretend that I betrayal. Only the choppy can be a traitor. Kizaru. You are so scary. You are right. The elders couldn't help but said indifferently. If a person is not firm in his stand, it is not worth training, especially as a soldier, fighting for the country and dying for the country. But, what the hell is this guy going to say? Akainu looked at the retreating elites indifferently. Nagato continued. The world government is not a country, and you are not considered serving for the country. It is better to recognize the reality. It's like, brush. Akainu came in front of Nagato, blasted a punch, and failed again. Admiral, Kizaru is the same. When Nagato's words fell, Akainu's movements were stagnant, his eyes were full of consternation, and he said angrily. What nonsense are you talking about? What a joke. Kizaru was Marine at the same time as him. Together with Kizaru, he became Zephyr's first students, exercising and growing together. Because of their outstanding performance, they are called monsters by the world. Chingshong, one elementary school brother, he would rather believe that Aokiji rebelled. I would never believe that Kizaru betrayed. You finally lost your face, you have been expressionless, I thought you were a puppet with no emotions. Seeing the change of Akainu's expression, Nagato said frankly, the Empire's powerhouses are going out one after another. It doesn't matter whether Kizaru is exposed or not, no one in this world can stop the Empire. Damn it, Pelusalino, you traitor. Akainu didn't rant anything, but the anger and murderous intent in his eyes were already obvious. The other party is a strong person with an identity, so there is no need to question anything. Why should I be angry? I just don't want to be a dog for celestial dragons anymore. Sakazuki. At this time, there was a sound from afar, making Akainu's face completely black. Buzz. Gold glitters. Kizaru's figure is formed on the ground. What made Akainu even more angry was that when Huang Yuan arrived, he didn't look at him at all, but turned around and made a strange gesture towards Nagato. Kizaru raised his hand and saluted. Citizen of the Holy Empire, identity number 12 ********** 91, I have seen Nagato Admiral. Nagato glanced at Kizaru. At a glance, you can tell that this is a ghost clone. Amazing, the body is drinking tea at naval headquarters, and the clone is everywhere. Plus transformation technique. God knows how many clones of Kizaru are wandering all over the world. But what makes Nagato curious is, you are just a citizen, no position. Kizaru's old face was bitter. He can be regarded as the worst among the powerhouses who have joined the Empire. Captured by a gang fight, sent to the Academy of Sciences for Anatomy, and as soon as he came out, he was sent back to Marine by White Zetsu to play as Admiral. No tasks are given. 7 years have passed without any assignments, so Kizaru thinks he has been abandoned. So he can only send avatars to run around in an attempt to run into empires and make friends to find relationships. Nagato said, thank you. I don't work hard, everything is for the Empire. Kizaru saluted again. Akainu is going to explode. Porsarino, how can you be so shameless? Akainu's voice squeezed out between his teeth, and the entire area turned into magma. Kizaru said with a dangerous expression, I have already explained it, and if you say anything, be careful, I will also take action. Come. Akainu shouted angrily. What Nagato? What Empire? Let's go cool. He is going to kill this traitor. Boom. The ground shook violently, and large tracts of ground cracked, and hot magma poured out. Kizaru couldn't help squinting his eyes. Did you bury the magma in the ground while I was talking to Nagato Admiral? Get down, he is my opponent. Nagato doesn't want to be robbed of someone's head, not to mention this Kizaru is just a spiritual clone, maybe it will be blown by Akainu. Yes, Nagato Admiral. Kizaru was about to fly away. Seeing this, Akainu yelled angrily, want to run? Go and die for me. Hell Red Lotus. For dozens of miles, the ground shattered instantly, and fierce magma came in like a tsunami. This is the move that Akainu has developed in various volcanoes in order to become stronger in the past few years. The ground is covered with magma, pushed with power, imitating a natural volcanic pile, and coming in an instant. Form a volcanic eruption. Advertisement. Boom. A large area of magma soared into the sky, forming a terrifying hellish picture. Hundreds of miles away, countless people saw the soaring lava from a distance, and the sky was stained red. Block it. A large amount of volcanic ash dissipated in all directions and would definitely cause casualties. Lu Bu shouted. Tian Jun. Lu Bu Fangtian waved his halberd. The volcanic ash and magma that had extinguished the sky split apart, and the sky split apart. Spirit Sealing Realm Method. The surrounding Imperial soldiers released the enchantment together, blocking the falling gray stone. Although the soul is mainly confined, the defense is also extremely strong. Oh, so terrible, you are so terrible, you almost killed me. In the battlefield, Akainu stood in the center of the magma sea and turned black when he heard these words. This be asterisk 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 D. I usually hear nothing, but now it's hostile, how awkward to listen, damn it. Brush. Two figures appeared, Kizaru covered the armed color, Nagato covered the spiritual power, and the two stood flat on the magma sea. It seems that you learned the invisible evasion ability in the Empire. Akainu looked at Kizaru coldly. He didn't believe that the former Kizaru was unharmed by the volcanic eruption in all directions. The eruption of magma, the strongest is not the temperature, but the terrible physical impact. Even if Kizaru armed defense, such a range will always be injured. People have to grow up. Kizaru shrugged and said, he did enter the realm of shadow, and the magma could not affect the shadow space. Damn it. Seeing Kizaru's casual look, Akainu became more and more angry. He least likes to fight against people from the Empire. Because one by one hides, no one can find it. The more the top Empire powerhouse, the more he missed it. Great eruption. 0. Look for flowers. When the magma sea formed, it became the realm of Akainu. Large swaths of magma on the ground turned into fists and attacked Kizaru overwhelmingly. Forget it, let you kill it once. Kizaru spread his hands and didn't hide. Boom. Huang Yuan was submerged by magma, and his whole body turned into a spiritual child and dissipated. Clone. Akainu bombed wildly in place. Damn Pelusalino, he actually wanted him, he just wanted to stop at that moment. It turns out that the clown is me, Akainu. Now, Naval Headquarters. Kizaru's body recovered the memory of the ghost clone, with a wonderful expression, turning his head and coughing lightly. Marshal, Sakazuki is stuck in South Blue, should I save him? Akainu. Shameless, shameless, Sengoku said in a deep voice, there are hundreds of thousands of Imperial soldiers, and many Imperial elites are there. We have to trust him. Time is too late to save. Akainu's physical strength is capable of fighting for 10 days and 10 nights, but if he is besieged, the time will be shortened infinitely. Oh, good luck, Sakazuki, you are my beloved relatives, brothers. Kizaru's face was full of melancholy. No Rear Admiral is very moved, Kizaru Admiral is indeed a marine hero. Akainu. Shameless Kizaru, you must die. Have you finished venting? 0. You'd better adjust your emotions, I don't like fighting against people who are irrational, because. Nagato looked at Akainu calmly. It will be over in an instant. During the words, a sniper rifle appeared in Nagato's hand. It's over in an instant. Ridiculous. Looking at the sniper rifle, Akainu felt the danger, but his tone was not convinced. If the weapon is a gun, then the danger is not too great. Find the target, open the insurance, aim, cover the armed color, pull the trigger, fly out the bullet, etc. Any step takes time. Even if it was hit, it was just a small bullet hole, and Akainu ignored the small wound. Brush. But Akainu has rich experience and doesn't want to capsize in the gutter. God knows what the opponent is capable of. Leave the place in a flash. After arriving at the other side from Nagato's view, Akainu attacked. Great eruption. Inu Guren. Meteor volcano. Let the magma sea erupt countless magma punches from the ground. At the same time, Akainu's left-handed dog, Guren, attacked Nagato, and his right hand blasted the sky full of magma punches. The sky is above the ground, and it is on the side. All are terrible magma attacks. Logia's range attack is really blessed. Nagato raised the sniper rifle, turned sideways slightly, and aimed at Akainu. Not good. The moment he was targeted, Akainu felt a fatal crisis. Armed defense that didn't even think about it, and quickly left the place. Late. The moment I aimed at you, it was over. Nagato's words did not fall. Humph. Akainu snorted. An ultimate pain spread all over his body, and Akainu looked at a big hole in his abdomen that penetrated his body in amazement. What ability is this? Silent. No bullets. No track. Seeing and hearing color did not catch any attack. All the magma, even armed with colored defenses, are all penetrated. Just take a glance, I am injured. No, armed color. The most difficult thing for Akainu to accept is that the opponent's attack is absolutely not entangled in armed colors, he is Logia. But it's more painful than being entangled in a sword with a military weapon. From the soul, ultimate pain. Call. Akainu snorted again. As soon as he moved to other places, Nagato set out to penetrate everything. A hole appeared again in the body. Hell Red Lotus. Enduring the severe pain, Akainu started the volcanic eruption again. At the same time, the distance is the limit. Boom. Chapter 60. The capture of Akainu is complete. I don't have to thank me for saving your life, brother. Advertisement. The Hell Red Lotus is invalid. Akainu was injured again. Puff. The knee was penetrated, and the 2 big holes in the abdomen were added. Because of pain, Akainu knelt on the ground and kept coughing. But there is no blood on his body. He is not the attacking body, is it the spirit soul? As Logia, Akainu knows how he feels. There were no injuries on the body. Those big holes were quickly filled with magma, but they were still unhappy. You shouldn't distance yourself. If you want to defeat me, the best way is to get closer. You have lost your chance. A few hundred meters away, Nagato stood calmly on the magma sea with a sniper rifle. Yes, Akainu is noncommittal. The previous emotions such as anger and shock have all turned into calm. No matter how painful the soul is, he has to calm down too. If you think you can beat me so easily, then look down on me too much. Akainu stood up again, expressionless. Hole in the body. Filled with magma again, but the wound on the soul can only be endured. Brush. The moment Akainu got up. Disappeared in place. I just talked casually, you actually chose to get closer. Nagato sensed Akainu's Reiatsu and came behind him. A few meters away, Dark Hound. The lava arm stretched out and attacked Nagato. Brush. Nagato left the place. Brush. Akainu just follows a continuous attack, even if it can't hit the opponent, it can't stop. 477. He knows very well that for a sniper, distance is the advantage. When the distance gets closer, the sniper rifle will be a burden. Swipe it. Boom 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 boom. The two of them moved constantly in the magma sea like phantoms, and Akainu would punch every time he stopped. And continue to use the ability to mobilize the magma sea. The formation of magma punches all over the sky interferes with Nagato's movement speed. Are you trying to fight with me? Seeing Akainu's plan to consume him, Nagato didn't know what to say. The strategy is good. After all, it is said that the top power here can fight for 10 days and a half months without a problem. Canine Tooth Red Lotus. Akainu said nothing. He approached Nagato to attack, interrupted his sniper action, and mobilized a wide range of lava seas to attack in all directions. Boom. Under Akainu's eyes dimly lit, Nagato actually blocked the magma with a sniper rifle, and was directly shattered by the magma. Efforts will pay off in the end. Akainu thought this way, and the continuous attacks finally exposed the other party's flaws. Chance. The gunman is scum without a gun. Dark Hound. Akainu punched again. Boom. What surprised Akainu was. Nagato didn't evade this time, but instead condensed a huge arrow in his hand and threw it. The magma collided with the medium-sized divine destruction and exploded. Without the sniper rifle, are there other moves? The Empire's general ability to shoot arrows. Akainu thought so, but the attack didn't stop, and he punched again and again. A series of terrifying magma fists erupted. Nagato raised his brow slightly. Perceiving a familiar Reiatsu flying in the distance, he felt helpless. The head grabber is here. Let's end it as soon as possible. Boom. Under Akainu's pupils shrink, Nagato developed a terrifying aura, and even the magma fist with him was shattered. Akainu couldn't help but regress. End Eucharist sanction of God. Nagato floated slowly, a huge halo appeared on his head, his hands were hidden, and 4 huge pairs of wings appeared behind him. Reiatsu is too tyrannical than before. Akainu felt uncomfortable all over, and his movements slowed down, which came from the pressure on the soul. As the fruit awakened, even if the other party is not demon fruit power, Akainu can only understand that. The opponent used all his strength. Boom, boom. Next moment, Akainu is very solemn. Because of the special aura that erupted on Nagato, it surged again. Damn it. Shrouded by the terrifying Reiatsu, Akainu felt that her mental breakdown was about to collapse, and she could only stiffen up and stretch the distance. What's the situation? Yahiko, who came from the same gate, looked at the sky in surprise. Nagato. The Eucharist has been opened. Why is it still exploding? Reiatsu. What a powerful Reiatsu. On Nanjo, all the Imperial soldiers looked towards the sky in astonishment. The people in the nearby South Blue were even creeping on the ground. Even a wisp of Reiatsu brushed lightly, making countless people overwhelmed. End Eucharist final form. Boom. Reiatsu turned the beam of light, directly blasted the sky, and opened up patches of clouds. Yahiko was also shocked. This guy Nagato, has the Eucharist evolve? No, it's not. This is his true complete Eucharist. The previous form was semi-completely liberated. Nagato at the moment, it has not become a so-called long-necked bird head, 4-legged and 8-winged monster. The spiritual power system of the Shinigami world is very different from the Imperial spiritual power system. Nagato's everything penetrates through the Eucharist, which is intangible and different from the Empire's Litbaro. Instead, the 4 pairs of wings on the back became 8 pairs, and the hands and feet were liberated. Attacks are more convenient. Ended. Looking down at Akainu below, Nagato slightly raised his hand. Facing the completely liberated me, you can only run away. Judgment is bright. Boom. A huge penetrating light burst out from Nagato's hand. Ignore defenses through everything. The sniper rifle is gone, it's even more terrifying. After avoiding, Akainu glanced back, his expression condensed. Wherever the giant light passes, everything penetrates, directly piercing through an invisible abyss. The most terrifying thing is, the light did not disappear. Instead, as Nagato's hand moves, it points to where to penetrate, and continues to penetrate. Hey, it's too messy. Yahiko felt that if he let Koke see this scene, he would definitely jump his feet in anger. Repair the battlefield. Advertisement. Doesn't cost money. Damn it. Akainu found that she really had to escape. Stopping for a while will definitely be pierced by terrifying light. Any defense is useless. Do not. The light is more than 10 meters wide, and it can be completely annihilated when it touches it. Swipe it. Akainu moved quickly back and forth, and abysses appeared behind him. No, it can't go on like this. There was no time to stop the counterattack, and Akainu felt extremely aggrieved. Disappeared in place again, stepped on the moonwalk and came to the sky. Nagato's hand faced the sky. In an instant, the sky was completely penetrated and cut like thin paper. Hey! Akainu exploded to the extreme, avoiding the huge light and came to Nagato. I said, escape is your only choice. What made Akainu say is that as soon as he approached, Nagato withdrew his hand. Chance. Akainu erupted directly into magma. At the same moment, Akainu discovered something desperate. End here. Nagato's 8 pairs of wings. In an instant, dozens of penetrating rays were released, forming a large net, covering all of him who rushed up. No chance to hide. Out on a limb. Boom 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 boom. 10 6 paths rays. It completely penetrated the armed defense, penetrated the magma, and penetrated Akainu. Puff, cough, you won. Kai Tien glanced at Nagato, a touch of bitterness passed through his eyes, but there was no resentment. This is the third time. It started with Kagaya, Hinata again. This time it is Nagato. It's all made him so weak, he can't hurt the opponent with all his best, and he will die if he is careless. Lost control. Akainu fell from the sky and hit the ground. Brush. After Nagato took back the Eucharist, he stepped forward to Akainu. He is Sakazuki. Yahiko also walked over, and looked at Akainu who was in miserable condition curiously. It was not visible on the outside, because the hole was filled with magma. But on the soul, there are dozens of holes all over the limbs. The soul is on the verge of shattering, and ordinary people have long ago suffered the collapse of consciousness. But Akainu just lay on the ground, staring at the sky with blank eyes, without any pain reaction 0. You have been arrested. A iron-blooded soldier with huge shortcomings but also huge advantages. Nagato said briefly, causing Akainu's eyes to fluctuate. Don't even kill him. This is very abnormal. Hey. A green light fell on Akainu in Nagato's hand, and he muttered, join the Empire and be a real soldier. Akainu frowned. After the green light fell, he felt a lot more relaxed. Although he was weak now, his spirit began to recover. Can hear Nagato's words. Ha 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 ha. Akainu laughed, laughing presumptuously, laughing proudly, he didn't know how many years he hadn't laughed. It seemed that the moment his hometown was destroyed by the pirates, he never smiled again. The pirates are not eliminated. What qualifications does he have to laugh? After a while, laughter collects money. Akainu expressionlessly said, if I submit to the Empire today, I will submit to a stronger force tomorrow, and so repeatedly, what qualifications do I have to say that I am a soldier? This argument. Nagato and Yahiko looked at each other, and they heard it for the first time. I have to say it makes sense. Humph. There was a cold snort in the distance. Nagato and Yahiko looked at it and couldn't help but cough. It turned out to be the peerless military commander Lu Fengxian. Lu Bu, yes. Lu Feng met the two chiefs first. After saluting Nagato and Yahiko, Lu Bu walked to Akainu's side and said in a cold voice, courageous champions of the 3 armies, should abandon the small ambition of the chaffinch. Akainu, what does the first half of the sentence mean? The frog at the bottom of the well is a ridiculous native. Lu Bu came quickly, and went quickly. It seemed that he was scolding Akainu specifically because of his unhappiness, but he didn't even have a dirty word. Cultural people. Cough. Yahiko coughed lightly and said calmly, he means that this world is too small, and there are countless worlds like yours. Something like I'm a scum. For example, your majesty, easily destroy your world. Hey, why are you staring at me? Do I have to lie to you? Little native. Akainu. He was silent. A few words reveal too much information. It seems that world government is a joke. Nagato didn't want to waste time. Lock him up and take Nanjo first. Wait a minute. Akainu struggled to sit up. The two looked. Akainu asked, who is IM 5.7? Female. Waste time. Yahiko went up and wrapped Akainu around the chain of spiritual power and threw it into the ring. Looking at you, don't want to kill him. Yahiko looked at Nagato strangely, and wondered, don't tell me it's because he is like a soldier. The soldiers on the heavens and the earth are not more regular than him. Nagato left a word and turned away. It's a request from a citizen of the Empire. Yahiko was shocked. All requests from citizens have come to Nagato, and Nagato has also agreed. Is it a beauty? It's not right. Nagato has always regarded beautiful women as clouds, and just wants to be your majesty's strongest blade. Hey, half talking, you want to p***s me off, who is it? Porisalino. Now, Naval Headquarters. 20 years. Kizaru returned to his office. Looking at the first graduation photo of the military academy during Zephyr's tenure as instructor on the wall. The Kizaru on top of it is foolish. Akainu's eyes are sharp above it. Kizaru drank a sip and recalled with emotion. Being students together, training together, and becoming stronger together, you fought the knife for me, and I fought the gun for you. 20 years, you have not changed. Brother, I am also human. Listen to brother's advice. The future is very long, and there is hope only when we live. Chapter 61. Lan Yu transforms dark fruit. The old man has seen you with a smile. Advertisement. 3 Seas War. The world is watching and silent. The marine on the Grand Line is confused. CP account, pirate. Instantly feel that the 3 words One Piece is not good. One Piece. To put it nicely is to conquer the Grand Line, the strongest pirate, known as the king of all pirates. Actually, Roger is not worthy to be king. Rocks, defeated by Garp, the Golden Lion, was purely Roger's luck. Whitebeard, fighting for a 3-time tie, kneeling down and begging to take Kazuki Oden, Charlotte Linlin, Roger did not fight head-on at all, and stole the historical marking text. Above, not once did Roger rely on his own strength to defeat the other top pirates. He was just lucky, with the sound of listening to all things, and with Oden's assistance, he gathered up the text of the historical coordinates and found the final island. If you don't need to defeat all the pirates, just find the ultimate island, you can become the Pirate King. Excuse me, what is the difference between this and a child's playhouse? 10,000 meters in the deep sea, on a merchant ship. The above are all Hanabi's explanations to Kuina. She thinks her idea is okay. So, the pirate is ridiculous. Kuina nodded lightly and continued to swing the knife. After swiping a few knives, Kuina had a question. Since he didn't defeat the other big pirates, how did he get the title of One Piece? Because he found the ultimate island. But since no one knows where it is, how can he be sure he found it? What? Good question. Hanabi is also a little confused. Yeah, who can be sure Roger found it? I can't start a live broadcast, or promote it myself. Does the whole world know that Roger has collected the historical coordinates of the text? Your Majesty, are they a little boring? Makoto wondered how the two little girls discussed the pirates, so they looked at Lan Yu at 07. Let them go. Lan Yu has no interest in such things as One Piece and the ultimate island. Instead, he looked at the table. Hiss. The above things are enough to make people all over the world take a breath, and cause countless people to go crazy. It's all devil fruit. Full of long tables. This is when Lan Yu gathered the islands of the 3 seas. By the way, all the devil fruits in the 3 seas were brought over. A few of the fruits are very good. Burning, dark, slippery, barrier. As well as the spatial fruit of Golden 5 Elders, the refusal fruit of 5 Elders, Buggy's chop fruit, etc. Space fruits Minato, Kagaya, Obito, etc. are all suitable. This top-notch ability. Who doesn't want it? Lan Yu is interested, but he doesn't know how to eat, but to feel the space energy in it. But looking at the fruit in Lan Yu's hand, Makoto curiously asked, Your Majesty, how do I think you are more interested in dark fruit? You're right. Lan Yu's hand is dark fruit. This is the original trajectory. The fuse of the big event sounded. Under Makoto's side eyes, Lan Yu picked up another fruit. Immediately. That fruit. It also becomes the same as dark fruit. At least it looks exactly the same. The fruit just now is. Zone. Makoto flipped through the Devil Fruit album and his eyes were very exciting. Makoto's first thought was that someone was going to be pitted, and Your Majesty wanted to do something. The appearance of the top Logia, the inside of the most ordinary zone, who can't be P********* D off after eating. New world is so peaceful. The appearance is the zone fruit of dark fruit, which is thrown into the space by Lan Yu. Next moment, it fell in the waters of New World Whitebeard. Please start your performance. Marshal D. Teach. Lan Yu didn't mean anything else, just to have some fun and watch the show. Your Majesty, the Fishman Island is here. Dongzhou's offense is very stable. The so-called strong here are vulnerable, and even with individual exceptions, they still cannot withstand the Imperial soldiers. South State. After capturing Akainu, he resumed his normal offense again. But in the southeast corner of Nanzhou, a seductive woman with long red-brown curly hair was sitting lazily, and said with a chuckle, Are you still running? Little sister. There is no response. In front of the woman was a small house, inside a little girl with long pink hair curled up, full of shame. Damn, it's woman, you are the little sister, and all of your family are little sisters. I thought so in my heart, but the little girl dared not speak up for fear that the other party was with her. Little cat, my sister is here for you. Terumi Mei got up, walked to the door, ready to push the door. But the door has been opened. Walking out of an old woman who was as old as 70 years old, her dizzy old eyes were dim and uncertain. Are you Natasha? Woo, my poor granddaughter, the pirate finally put you back, you have grown so old. Hurry up and let grandma hug. As Terumi Mei's eyelids lightly jumped, the old lady walked by with tears in her eyes and trembling, she was about to hug it with her hand. It surprised me that. Terumi Mei turned sideways slightly, her expression playfully. I just called you my little sister, you actually called my granddaughter. I like this character. The old lady was confused and full of grief. Oh, you don't even know grandma anymore, grandma's heart hurts so much. Forget it, this is a place of sorrow, grandma is leaving. The old lady turned around and left. Play. Continue to play. Terumi Mei watched the old lady perform so quietly, her acting was flamboyant. Advertisement. No matter. You become 8, 18, or 80, your Reiatsu will not change. The game of peekaboo ends here. Did she really recognize it? Jewelry Bonnie was a little shocked, and ran away without even thinking about it. See how far you can run. After Terumi Mei left customs. I came to Nanzhou to help, and by the way, I saw a little girl who kept getting older and shrinking her age secretly, trying to leave Nanzhou through various scams. It aroused the interest of Terumi Mei, frightened and chased slowly. Until now. Come on you. Terumi Mei's spiritual power chased the past, entangled the old lady, and pulled over. Let go of my old mother. My old mother can go by herself, let go. After being carried back, the old lady became a little girl with pink hair, struggling and shouting extremely sturdily. Just you, still my elder mother. Terumi Mei really laughed, This girl is so fierce at such a young age that she still has it when she grows up. Huh, I'll admit it when I planted it in your hands. I'm unlucky. Bonnie snorted and turned his head. But when Bonnie turned his head, a gleam of light appeared on his hand, directly patted on Terumi Mei. Buzz. Terumi Mei shrinks. From Oni-san, who seemed to be in her 20s, she became a cute little girl of 8 or 9 years old. Brush. Bonnie jumped to the side and smiled triumphantly. Also call my little sister. Come, shout to my sister to listen, or I'll hit you. Her ability can make people old or young by touching with her hands, and she can also transform herself into a child or an old man at will. Although he still couldn't run away, it didn't prevent Bonnie from singing and laughing. This ability is really good. To Bonnie's surprise, Terumi Mei still looked lazy and looked at herself. Still muttering words that he didn't understand. Ordinary men always like 18-year-old young women, but sometimes they also want to experience 28, 38-year-olds. Your Majesty, is also a man. If I always look like my 20s, there will be no novelty. What is she saying? Shouldn't you panic? In Bonnie's astonishment, Terumi Mei raised her head and chuckled. You will be my secretary from now on, you know. Immediately, Terumi Mei turned around and said with satisfaction, if your Majesty sees it, maybe he will pick me up. It's really exciting. His Majesty, the Lord of the Empire, is it a man? Bonnie finally understood what the other party meant, and wanted to use her ability to change his age to attract the Lord of the Empire. Are you a fairy? I reject. Bonnie yelled. There is no room for you to refuse. Terumi Mei's small body moved into a tyrannical Reiatsu and stunned Bonnie on the spot. Take away, Shijo. It's a mess. A heavy figure fell to the ground. Brush. Namikaze Minato fell on the ground and said flatly, I told you before. Before the Empire is completely occupied, no one is allowed to leave Shijo, and those who cross the border die. Puff cough cough. Lafayette coughed up blood, staring at Namikaze Minato in horror. I know my own family affairs. As the security officer of West Blue, he is notorious here for his excessive use of violence, worse than the reputation of pirates. When the Empire came, Lafayette couldn't guarantee that people like himself would be killed, so he chose to flee. It is his plan to use his ability to spread his wings and fly out of Shijo. But from the center of Shijo, flying 510 out of Shijo was too far, too far. He flew for 2 or 3 days without flying out, which was too exhausting. This is a big state where thousands of islands converge. Lafayette can only find a giant eagle in the sky and step on him to continue flying. Almost. I am almost. When Lafayette was carrying a giant eagle in the sky, it was about to fly out of the western state and over the coast. Lafayette was hit hard when he saw only a golden flash of light passing by. Falling from the sky, had it not been for his strength, he would have already turned into a dead body when he landed. Damn it, just a little bit. Lafayette was full of unwillingness. The Imperial soldiers didn't notice him, but was kicked back by the man. It's useless to be unwilling. Namikaze Minato didn't kick the opponent to death and just wanted to see who it was. Now he glanced and raised his finger. A small sacred destruction was sent at the fingertips. He rushed towards Lafayette who was seriously injured and fell to the ground like a laser. Also at this moment, a knife blocked the laser, and stood still in front of Lafayette. There was also a calm voice. Your Excellency from the Holy Empire, before you are sure whether the opponent is good or evil, you will kill you. Is it a bit too harsh? What if it's just a civilian who is eager to go out? Strength is not a problem, the old man is a civilian. Lafayette was startled. Is there someone like him to save? But Lafayette looked up and saw a middle-aged man stepping on wooden clogs. The surprising part is, the other's eyes closed, with a cross-shaped scar on his forehead, like a blind man. Rules are rules, and no matter what the reason, it is a capital crime to violate. Namikaze Minato replied calmly, he had spotted each other a long time ago. The blind man's words are not questioning, but some confused doubts. The Empire is really domineering. The blind man sighed, there was no mood swing, and he was gentle. And continued to speak. However, perhaps only domineering can be better managed. It is not necessarily wrong to stop killing, especially in this extremely chaotic world. The old man smiled and saw Your Excellency. Lafayette regrets it. You are so polite. Come to rescue me or make friends. Chapter 62. Does the Empire ban gambling? The gravity knife smashes Namikaze Minato. Advertisement. Smile. Gambling and wandering for decades. Once Admiral is in the world. He has a gentle and straightforward personality, has an extremely strong sense of justice, values the safety of the people, and hates all unrighteous acts. Certainly, there are many such people in the world. But there are very few people in the world who have this kind of character and the strength of a smile. No strength is empty talk. A smile. After a glance, Namikaze Minato said that he hadn't seen it before, hadn't heard of it, and had no interest. You want to stop me from killing him? Lafayette's body tensed. No one wanted to die. He didn't want to be killed when he fled Shijo, but ignored the imperial hegemony. Damn it, careless. Lafayette wanted to give himself a few dollars. Although he is very violent and has a bad reputation, but honestly surrendering may not necessarily be killed by the Empire. But he crossed the border and fled, which violated the rules of the Empire. Isn't this rushing to die? Thinking of this, Lafayette couldn't help but collapsed on the ground. He was seriously injured. There were imperial soldiers everywhere. This blind man could not save him. Wait for death. Sha thinks that although he violated the rules of the Empire, before determining his character and identity, he can be appropriately lenient and detained for investigation before making a decision. With a smile, he retracted the knife and spoke calmly. You make sense. What? With a smile, he was shocked and disappeared. When the words fell, Minato was completely lost in the sight, and when the smile caught Minato again. Boom. An arrow fell. Lafayette died on the spot. Namikaze Minato calmly landed on the ground, and left the next sentence. But you are not qualified to let the Empire relax its rules, and if you violate it, you will die. Terrifying speed. A smile was extremely shocked in his heart. He worked hard for decades, and for the first time he encountered a terrifying speed that he could not even capture. See the big in the small. If there is no time to capture the sight, the body's response will not be able to keep up, let alone an effective counterattack. When the speed reaches ultimate, it is absolute power. Excuse me, what strength is qualified to propose to the Empire? A smile didn't care about Lafayette's death and questioned it. Although he was blind, in the past few years in West Blue, he naturally recognized Lafayette, a guy who was more violent than ordinary pirates. Stop. It was to find a chance to approach Minato to speak up and answer all the doubts in his heart. Strength. Hearing talking about strength with a smile, Minato affirmed, you're welcome. No matter how strong people in this world are, they can't influence the rules of changing the Empire. The only people who can propose changes are the people of the Empire, whether civilians or high-level people. People outside the Empire are not eligible. I see. Can civilians also propose? It's really eye-opening. Apologized with a smile. I apologize for blocking your excellency. I just want to learn more about the thoughts of the top empire. He has been to North State. Still lived there for a year. During that year, he walked around Beijo quite plainly in front of an ordinary person. What you see and hear. I've been scouring the cognition of the country with a smile. He has never seen a country that treats civilians so favorably and has zero tolerance for all evil parties. Compare with other countries. 2 words beautiful. Not enough to make a smile. Gion, you are right. Although the empire is domineering, it is because other countries are too weak that thieves breed. With a smile, I remembered an ordinary friend I met unexpectedly in Beijo for a year. That is a strong lady boss who runs a flower shop in the center of Beijo. Marine Vice Admiral that has been lurking for 7 years, Gion. Gion. Sister, Marshal Sengoku, if you don't call me back, you will fall into the beauty of the empire. Why not join the empire early? Namikaze Minato can see that the opponent is very strong and should be the top power in this world. With the strength of the opponent. In the past 7 years, not to mention becoming a high-ranking empire, at least one official and one half position. This, with a smile and entangled expression, he said something unexpected to Minato. I'm not sure whether gambling is forbidden in the empire. If you can't gambling, life will be no fun. This is really interesting. Minato was amused by a grin. Your hobby reminds me of Hashirama-sama and Tsunade Senpai, they also said this. With a smile, he was surprised. His empire can't help betting, but I haven't seen a casino in North State. Can't help. Minato spoke casually. Blocking is worse than sparse. This is any world, no matter it's ordinary, fantasy or fairy tale, it's inexhaustible. In addition to drugs, gambling must be prohibited, and other gambling must be formal and abiding by the rules. Smile. Huang, what is that? Unexpectedly. A little bit dumbfounded with a smile, then why hasn't he seen a casino in Beijo? The reason why I stayed at North Blue for a year and left is purely a gambling addict. Immediately, he smiled and said, Your Excellency, I want to join the Empire, but I have a presumptuous request. Minato nodded slightly. If the other party comes over and just talks nonsense and does not join the Empire, it can only be an enemy. He smiled and said seriously, I want to go directly into the Imperial forces to clean up the thieves in West Blue and set up civilians. Hearing this, Minato said directly, I can arrange for you to go in, but it needs to be checked, identity and strength. A smile expresses understanding, so he smiled and nodded. The identity of the old man is very simple. He is just a swordsman who loves gambling and noodles in the wandering world. He does not belong to any power. Minato is noncommittal. A ray of light glowed in his hand, and Minato said, I want to check your soul and memory. This is what everyone who joins the Empire must experience. This kind of technique is very special. It only checks identity-related memories and part of the experience fragments, and does not involve any personal privacy. Smiled startled. In the same way, it suddenly dawned on me with a smile. He had seen people queuing to join the Empire in Beijo, but they were quickly arrested and killed one after another. He was still wondering how the Empire had completed its identity investigation so quickly.
Advertisement. I understand now. Perhaps there are people in the world who have the ability to rewrite memories, but the Empire must have targeted methods and will never let anyone hide it. Good. Nodded with a smile, and let go of power. Now that it's decided, just check the memory, he has a clear conscience. A brilliance enveloped a smile. Take it back quickly.
Then Minato was a little surprised. In this world, there is a strong like you. Identity is no problem. But there was a random memory segment that trembled Minato. He didn't expect it. The other party turned out to be blinded by himself, just because the world is too dirty. Is it finished? A smile was a little surprised at the efficiency, seeing and hearing color captured Minato's mood swings. He gently picked up the knife and smiled calmly. It's a blessing to not look at things.
There are too many dirty and nasty people in the world. It's just that after the Empire came, I found that my decision was a bit sloppy. There is still hope for the world. Minato was silent slightly. He admitted that he was touched the moment. Not every strong person can do this level of laughter. You will have a chance to see the light again, as long as you want. During the words, Minato chuckled lightly. I don't have a problem with my identity and my strength, but I have a request. He smiled without opening, and waited calmly. Pin. A spirit blade appeared in Minato's hand, and he said with awe-inspiring fighting spirit, this is a wilderness. I haven't fought a top powerhouse in this world. Coming to fight. Boom. The next moment, gravity burst. Minato sank and smashed the ground directly, lowering his body. Your speed is definitely not what I can match, be careful. Shocked at Minato's speed before, he smiled and chose to take the initiative. Show off all your strengths and prove yourself. Pin. He smiled to accumulate gravity, instantly pulled the knife out of its sheath, and slashed towards Minato. The trajectory swinging the knife forward releases huge lateral gravity. Gravity knife tiger. Boom. Gravity bursts like mountains and seas, crushing and destroying everything in front of you. The terrible wind pressure pushed down the huge boulders and trees in the distance. With a stab at your fingertips, you are really strong. Minato's figure appeared on the other side, admiring it. The place here was originally a deserted island, merged in Shijo, and currently there is no one in sight. Otherwise, there will be countless casualties in one move. It is worthy of being a strong man in the Empire, who broke away from my gravity so easily. Smiled with emotion. The action did not stop in the slightest. Gravity knife fire festival. With a smile, he gave a low sip, held the rod knife back in a flash, and suddenly closed the sheath. The action is simple and cool. The clothes on his body were lifted up with a strange aura, and the surrounding gravel was floating. This is, quote. Minato looked over. A circle of purple fluctuations visible to the naked eye appeared around the smile, and the next moment purple light burst into the sky. Submerge into the sky and disappear. Meteorite. Minato didn't rush to shoot, but looked to the sky in surprise. Dozens of light spots flickered above the 10,000-meter altitude, shaking open the clouds and falling from the sky. Minato's surprise was not the meteorite attack. This scene is obviously a gravel dragged down from the outer sky with ability, and it cannot be fabricated out of thin air. Was it floating in the sky by gravity in advance, or was it pulled down from outer space? If the latter one, the opponent's perception, color, perception, and ability influence range are terrifying. Although you can't hurt you, but there are limits to your speed, it's enough to have an impact. As the meteorite descended, Minato disappeared instantly. I smiled and condensed. This kind of near teleportation. No, it's teleportation, it's too fast. Minato appeared to his side with a smile, and just after falling, he felt the extremely powerful gravity, which made his body stagnate. It's ready at the beginning of a smile. Gravity, knife Li hell journey. Gravity is concentrated at one point. All were pressed on Minato, who had stagnated for an instant due to gravity. Boom. Minato's place was completely shattered, and his body fell into a bottomless abyss 1 foot wide. Brush. He smiled and backed away. The meteorite all over the sky slammed down towards the bottom of Minato. Boom. Rumble again and again. Wonderful. It's really wonderful. Attacking Manchi fiercely. It's wonderful. At this time, a voice sounded, and my heart condensed with a smile, when the other party appeared out of thin air. With a smile, Wenlu perceives another person who suddenly appeared, and slowly said, Your Excellency is also an empire. Right. Senju Nawaki looked at the ruins ahead, then smiled and said, although it may not hurt Minato, it is the first time I have seen him fall into a disadvantage. This guy usually kills his opponents by teleporting, so he can't be proud. During the words, Nawaki came to smile and said seriously, I like you promise, if you and I will join hands to make Minato even his son unrecognizable, I recommend you directly become an admiral. By the way, the admiral is admiral's alternate, and I am. I don't know what to say with a smile. This is the legendary loss of friends. Nawaki, if you make trouble again, I will beat you up, even Tsunade-senpai will not recognize you. Minato's voice sounded from the ruins. Sure enough, it's okay. Continue to shoot with a smile. Chaos gravity field. Boom. Chapter 63. Jack, who do you think lousy is? Get the ship over. Advertisement. Chaos gravity field. Let the surrounding gravitational field be chaotic, and forcefully create a superior area that belongs to Yishao. The area where the wilderness is full of roars, a wide range of ruptures, all float up to bless the chaotic gravity, and do not give Minato any footing. It's wonderful. Senju Nawaki, who retreated, admired again. If it weren't for this wilderness to belong to a deserted island and merged into Shijo, then it would be a scene where the island shattered and floated in chaos. This is not the main thing. The main action is a smile, too chic, gently swinging the knife, like moving a finger. With a slight move, the world turned upside down. Unlike many powerhouses, the posture of the explosive attack is as if it were integrated. The nemesis of speed. Namikaze Minato thought so. In this chaotic gravitational field, even Minato was out of shape, unable to stand still and couldn't maintain it. Just as soon as it stabilized, the gravity was messed up again. Completely changed the gravity of this area, making the body sway. It's like people in this world suddenly felt Reiatsu, and they were very uncomfortable. Thinking like this, Minato still smiled brightly, Come on, as long as you defeat me, you can ask for anything. Call. Naoki curled his lips. As a small partner who joins the team with Minato and trains to become stronger, Minato and Sasori are the most to look at. Watch out for capsize in the gutter. Then, it's rude. After the chaotic field was enveloped, a smile also liberated all of his strength. Gravity, knife tiger chaos. He slammed the unsteady Minato from top to bottom with a stab, and a purple gravitational wave was sent in an instant. Boom. Covers the front in an instant. In the area shrouded by gravity waves, the force field suddenly increased more than 10 times, and everything passed by was distorted and collapsed. Everything is suffering from irresistible forces and extreme distortions. Boom. Suddenly a burst of Reiatsu broke out. Like a barrier, it can contend with the terrifying gravity wave. Reiatsu 570 penetrated all things even more, and directly fell on a smile. Wow, such as Mount Tai topping. With a smile, he seemed to feel that he was also suppressed by gravity, and his whole body was uncomfortable, and he suddenly smashed the ground to retreat. This kind of momentum. He stepped back hundreds of meters in a flash, but laughed and found that he was still uncomfortable, and his movements became stiff. The gravity field is directly interrupted. Not good. In the next instant, with a smile, I found that Namikaze Minato was missing from the sight. Also at the moment of disappearance. Ushered in a blast kick. As if disappearing and kicking happened at the same time. Boom boom boom. The smile of the body kick directly turned into streamer and smashed boulders and trees all the way. Flying upside down. The gravitational field erupts. The armed color broke out. With a smile, he stepped on a piece of gravel, floated up and flew quickly. Gravity. Knife. He flew back with a smile, and attacked Minato, who appeared again in the sight of seeing and hearing without thinking. Also when I was laughing and flying upside down, Naoki began to yell. Minato opened the holy text and the celestial body, teleporting at will within the range of perception, moving with his heart, and nothing can stop him from teleporting. After a smile flew over, he just finished listening and was about to attack. Follow your heart. Think as fast as you can. How to fight this? It was a little hard to understand with a smile. This is beyond the capture speed of seeing and hearing colors and the definition of teleportation, right? How should the body react? Just when Naoki's words fell, the sword of Yhwach hadn't fallen yet. Spiral flashing super round dance sword pressure cut. Brush. Minato disappeared without warning. He directly ignored the gravitational field around the smile, and came to him without warning. Passed by with a smile. Puff. Chirp. The spiritual blade swept Reiatsu and spiritual power, which is the energy of the ultimate pressure AHFH contraction before moving. When misplaced with Yhwach, the spiritual power on the spiritual blade and Reiatsu broke out directly, and the armed defense with a strong smile burst on him. Boom. Such as small energy tides. Flew a smile out. That cut was an instant attack developed by Minato to improve Rasengan's sword pressure, with extremely strong cutting power and explosive power. Specially cooperate with teleport to break the defense. Minato, your move name is still that bad, and the speed is even worse. Senju Naoki murmured, every time he fights with Minato, or other people fight with Minato, there are only two words, stubborn. The teleportation of the body following the heart is not the kind of half-hearted luo, and it doesn't give people any chance to react at all. Especially after opening the Eucharist. Minato's teleportation sublimation, no matter what attack, what barrier, what object, he can teleport through. Point straight to the goal. Create an illusion of ignoring the attack. Any attack is almost ineffective and can only be passively defended or avoided ahead of time or bombarded wildly. This guy is almost there. There is currently no ability to effectively stop Shisui from moving, but Hinata's ability is okay. Naoki shouted and thought again. Minato chose to ignore it. Continue to attack the smile that just flew upside down, and the figure reappeared on the upside down trajectory of the smile, slashing with a knife. Boom. A smile was blown away again. The armed color was broken again, and a hideous scar appeared on a smile. Boom. 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 It's hard to respond in a normal state, and the smile that flew upside down turned into a broken kite, which was chopped 18 times by Minato moving back and forth. Wow. When Minato stopped, a blood mist swayed, and it fell to the ground with a big smile. You are really ruthless. Naoki shrank his head, and it hurt. Advertisement. First, you must go all out in the face of any opponent. When he fell with a smile, Minato continued to follow him like a shadow. Second, no matter what the opponent's injury is, he must make up for the knife before he is completely defeated and killed. Third, don't waste time talking nonsense with any opponent. Above, the Empire's fighting rules. Naoki was speechless. Then you are still talking nonsense. Ended. When Minato fell, he smiled in the ruins and started to make up the knife. The reason why he is talking nonsense. Just looking forward to surprises. After all, it's not a life and death fight, just a discussion. Boom. Minato's spirit blade was chopped down, and it was directly blocked by the staff knife, and a fierce wind entered between the blades. Thank you, Your Excellency Minato, for giving me the opportunity to react. Let me know that I still have shortcomings, and let me have a small breakthrough. The wind swept away the dust, and smiled and opened his mouth steadily with a knife full of scars, but there was also a ray of joy in the voice. Little breakthrough. Minato came with great interest, full of anticipation. Come then. Brush. Minato disappeared. But under Naoki's wide-open eyes, before Minato disappeared, he smiled and turned sideways, slashing horizontally. Gravity. Knife Juhei. Boom. When Minato appeared, there was a critical strike, causing Minato's pupils to shrink. Brush. Follow your heart. When the attack comes, then ignore the fall and go through. Minato goes straight through the smile of the attack, and comes to the side. Gravity knife habitat. What surprised Minato was that he changed his direction and was attacked by a smile. Swipe. Several times in a row. The same is true. Minato drew a distance and exclaimed, your breakthrough refers to the breakthrough of seeing, hearing and color, foreseeing the future. Exactly. Smiled and said, he hadn't found a direction for decades of painstaking practice, but under the strong pressure of Minato, he finally broke through. Foresee the next few seconds. It is a development direction of top-level knowledge. Minato and Naoki's eyelids twitched. Do you treat this breakthrough as a small breakthrough? Even so, it won't work, and Minato cannot be restricted. Naoki was excited for a moment, thought of the possibility of rubbing Minato on the ground, and then he was helpless. Exactly. A smile did not refute. Minato can attack times, 100 times, or even 1,000 times in an instant. And every attack can be in a different direction. There is no stagnation in between. If Minato opens unlimited combos, it's useless to see the future with laughter. His body response, nerve response, attack speed, etc. can't keep up. Puff, cough, I lost. With a smile, he vomited blood suddenly, and his injuries were replaced by other vice admiral who died early. Seeing that Smile stopped doing meaningless battles, Minato smiled helplessly. It's the same again. Every time I get to know my abilities, I don't want to fight myself. Minato is very sad. Smile. Although the old man likes to learn from each other, but he is not an idiot, why should he be a target? Kaido. Change me. Change me. Then, Minato was about to say something. This wilderness is not far from the coast. There was a slight shock in the distance, which seemed to be coming from the coast dozens of miles away, but it could be spread so far, proving the extraordinary strength. Yes, pirate ship. With a smile, he shook out what he saw and heard, and immediately caught the movement dozens of miles away. The outline is a huge pirate ship, and on the bow stands a strong man who is 8 meters tall. There are quite a few Imperial soldiers blocking the coast. Master Jack, let's run. This is occupied by the Holy Empire. Who do you think Lousy is? Move the boat over. With a smile, his eyelids twitched. This pirate is a bit arrogant. He smiled and said that he had never seen such a handsome pirate when he grew up. Shijo is being attacked by the Empire. Haughty like Kaido, didn't you still not come here? Obviously afraid. But this guy, a look like someone's boss, second, third, and fourth is dead. It's really interesting that there are pirates who dared to reach the shore. Besides, for this courage, I, Naoki, would like to call you the strongest. Ninja art. Meiotic regeneration. Minato shrouded the green light with a smile and repaired his injury. Let's go. Starting today, you will join the Empire Marine and directly serve as Rear Admiral. This is the highest position Minato can give a smile. Obviously, Minato appreciates the opponent's strength and character. Imperial Marine. A smile didn't say anything. I was just surprised that I didn't enter the sacred troops. Swipe. Minato. Naoki. Smile. The three rushed to the coast to see who was so arrogant. On the south blue shore in the east of the West State. Jack looked at the Imperial soldiers coming on the coast with all scorn, without the slightest fear in his eyes. Crazy. Just one word. Don't talk about these Imperial soldiers, even if all the upper echelons of the Empire are standing here, Jack is still unsettled. The word Ben didn't have to be in Jack's mind. The original trajectory is the future, that is, Jack the Drow, who played at the age of 28, 2 years after the top of the war. 12 years ago, 16 years old this year. The youngest and full of 16. Lousy finally joined Kaido Boss's pirate group, and finally received the news that West Blue had zone ancient abilities, and finally came to West Blue. When I thought of landing on the island a few days ago, I saw all the islands flying up and converging towards the center of West Blue, and Jack exploded in anger. It actually prevented him from completing the task. Jack burst out again. Who do you think Lousy is? Get the boat over. Chapter 64. Quinn almost died of anger. Extremely valuable mammoth ivory. Advertisement. Boom. The roar of the ghost island made many pirates chill. The boss is really true. You have to cultivate on the island of ghosts. Are you afraid of breaking the island? The plump Quinn, with a cigar in one hand, and rice cake and bean soup in the other, ate and drank wildly, and kept complaining. The coming smoke said coldly, Boss Kaido is trying hard to cultivate, you guy only knows to eat. What? Quinn took a sigh, then looked up and cursed. You be asterisk 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 D, what qualifications do you have to preach to me, pervert who loves torturing people? Quinn and stared at each other. Ah, you will die sooner or later. Hee hee, you are jealous. If I lose weight, I will be too popular and I will insist on not losing weight. The two of them have a gesture of starting to do something if they don't agree with each other. The little brothers shivered. Here again, the two eldest brothers were noisy as soon as they met, and they never stopped. Baloo. Baloo. At this time, the phone worm rang. Quinn took a look. After the call was connected, there was a panicked voice. Master Quinn, the big thing is not good. Boss Jack is docking in Shijo, we can't stop it. Shijo. Quinn didn't react for a while. He remembered that Jack, the kid, received an order from the Kaido boss to go to an island in West Blue to capture an ancient zone species. It should be back now. Wrong. He said in a deep voice. The Lord of the Empire gathers on the islands of the Three Seas, and Jack is in West Blue. Quinn was taken aback. Either Jack was taken flying on the island, or he was not on the island, so he drove the boat to attack Shijo. That idiot. Give the phone bug to Jack, Lousy will scold him to death. Quinn spoke furiously. Kaido boss doesn't want to go to the Empire, how can you be more arrogant than the boss? Brother Quinn. After taking the phone worm, Jack, who was arrogantly calling the boat over, suddenly spoke respectfully. In his mind Kaido's boss, Chi's second, Quinn's third, and his fourth, of course must be respected. Idiot. Ah you, can you manage the Empire, return it to Lousy. Hearing this, Jack said seriously, find the ancient power person in West Blue and bring him back. This is the order of the Kaido boss, and he will finish it to the death. Quote. Quinn was eaten. Jack is still young. He is currently 16 years old. Although he and Kai preach to Jack all day long, they hate iron but not steel. Although Jack is a bit weak. But he is the perfect boy. He is tyrannical and cruel to the outside world, dedicated to his duties and loyal to the inside, and is even more humble and respectful to his elder brothers. Where to find such a boy? After a long time, Quinn roared. How many times have you said it? Can you be a little bit brainy? Run to the western continent of the Empire to grab the fruit. Why don't you go to Mariajoy to grab it? There was no sound on the other side. Quinn breathed a sigh of relief, and glanced triumphantly. Look, Lousy spoke, Jack must come back obediently. Next moment, Jack suddenly realized the voice, full of excitement. Brother Quinn, you are so smart, why I didn't expect it. When I take away the capable person, I will immediately attack Mariajoy. There must be more zone fruits there. Quinn court. Forget it, it's hopeless. Give up the treatment, Jack is dead. Boom. Quinn squeezed the phone worm in anger, and roared. Damn Jack, you don't even listen to me. Even if he doesn't die this time, I will kill him. Kai Wei frowned and said calmly. Be quiet, don't let the boss hear it. Quinn's voice paused. He knows Kaido's character very well, and when he knows it, he must be tenderly crying and cursing Jack at the same time. Then he ran to Shijo madly drunk. The kind that can't be stopped. Quinn's anger is still hard to dissipate. Can we only bear it? Watching Jack die. Kai Ping said plainly. Go and save it. Quinn suddenly shrank his head and smiled awkwardly. Ahahaha, by the way, I'm going to do a patrol without a bowl, let's go first. Coward. Kai looked at Quinn leaving with disdain. Although Yan didn't dare to go to the Empire, Quinn was timid and afraid of things, a typical bully and fearful of hardship. It can't go on like this. Thinking that the Empire is about to take the world, it will definitely attack the Grand Line next, and I feel very depressed. A single force certainly can't stop the Empire. Beast's Pirates is not strong enough, it's time to persuade the old Yamato that woman alliance. It's better to bring that person in too. Or, coalition world government. West Coast. Why is it silent? Some wonder why Big Brother Quinn hangs up the phone worm, and Jack also threw the phone worm to his younger brother. Once again arrogantly looked towards the coast. What are you waiting for? Bring the boat over to Lousy. Must complete Kaido boss's mission, Jack thought. The eyes of the Imperial soldiers were cold. Did this guy come to die? Knowing that the Empire was attacking Shijo, he was still so crazy. Boom, boom, boom. The heartbeat sounded like a bell and drum. Jack couldn't help but stare. Along the coast ahead, a man with long red hair and a blank face walked out. Holding a huge hammer in his hand. Pilly. Thunder God Thor was shining with thunder, holding the completely unsealed artifact Thunder Hammer, and threw it directly at Jack. The awakened Thor's hammer. Throwing the hammer. I underestimated Lousy. Jack yelled and jumped up from the boat abruptly, almost overturning the boat. In midair, Jack took out two sickle-like weapons and slashed them fiercely. Boom. In Jack's pupils shrinking. As soon as his sickle hit the thunder hammer, it shattered instantly, and slammed into him unabated. A terrible force hit him. Jack in midair had nowhere to take advantage of him, and he was directly smashed into the air. Flying upside down hundreds of meters in the air. Fall into the sea. Boss Jack. Advertisement. The boys exclaimed, and several incompetents immediately jumped into the sea. Boss Jack is a capable man. But everyone is not too worried. Jack, as a Murloc, Saddlestone Madara Murloc, even if he is seriously injured and dying into the sea, he can still retain his consciousness and breathing. Instead, the boys found a chance. Planned to take Jack to evacuate by boat. It's over so soon. Minato, Nawaki and a smile came. They had heard Chi Zhong's burst of shouts from afar before, and they thought it was something strong. Result. Was it done by Thor? Wow. Thor took the thunder hammer that flew back, calmly said. That blow, he didn't hurt too much, just fell into the sea. Everyone's forehead. Watching the kids save Jack. Nawaki said in surprise. If I read it right, this pirate banner belongs to New World Overlord Beast's Pirates. Minato was surprised. Nawaki, the idiot, could recognize it. Immediately, Minato smiled. Isn't that right? Catch him and see if I can bring Beast's Pirates over. There is no time to watch Grand Line now. If they come, they will be giving away their heads. He smiled slowly and said. The Empire is too strong, and the pirates are so evil, they may not come. Minato didn't care either. Always try to catch it. When Jack was salvaged, before the boys could say anything, Jack suddenly roared. Get out of Lousy, I'm going to kill that B***************. Boom boom boom. Jack used a moonwalk-like movement, stomping on the air, and quickly approaching the coast. Let him go ashore. Minato motioned to the Imperial soldiers to step back. With a smile, he stepped forward and said, I just joined the Empire, and I got a position without any credit. I feel ashamed. Leave him to me. Boom. The words just fell with a smile. It was the sound of a heavy object hitting the ground, and the ground trembled. Come on. Lousy is fearless. Seeing so many people, Jack shouted angrily, not afraid at all. A fool. This is what everyone thinks. It seems brave and brave, but in fact it's no-brainer. Roar. The roar of the beast rang. Jack swells. In a blink of an eye, a huge mammoth with a length of more than 10 meters appeared. The tusks were very long, and there were 2 white horns on the elephant's head that were similar to horns. Zone. Elephant fruit, ancient species, mammoth form. How much is your bounty? Looking at White Fang, an object of the mammoth, Nawaki asked a question. Lousy is a big pirate of 500 million. Jack roared and slammed into the crowd, pressing like a mountain. 0. 2 years after the war on the top of the original trajectory, there are still 12 years left. Now 16-year-old Jack can have 500 million bounty, which is amazing. Nawaki laughed. Very well, your ivory is worth 499,999,999, Barry. This is a tooth, I like it. Everyone was startled and laughed. Nawaki is so bad. On the side, Jack's strength value is only, Barry. But Nawaki's words are true. You can't find such a large ancient ivory elsewhere, and it's worth 400 million yuan. It might be worth 990 million. Damn it, go to death. No matter how stupid Jack is, he can hear Nawaki's contempt for his strength. When Quinn and the 2 elder brothers preached, they never scolded him with ivory. The mammoth trampled. Jack's moves are very simple, relying on the strength, defense and resilience of the mammoth. Rampage. Debate. The smiled rod and knife instantly came out of its sheath. The gravity field swept over Jack. Jack felt his body sink instantly, and his movements became stagnant. Gravity knife hell brigade. The terrifying gravity came from horizontally, pressing down directly from the top to the bottom of the cover. Boom. The ground shattered, and the huge mammoth plunged directly into the abyss. Gravity knife chaos. With a smile, he held the knife, tapped in the abyss, and put the knife into its sheath as he turned around. Boom. The land where the abyss was located collapsed, and the surrounding land continued to gather, twisting and closing from top to bottom. Jack under the abyss. He suffered terrible gravity distortion, and his body was splashed with blood mist, causing severe injuries on the spot and fainting. Wu smiled and raised the knife slightly again. The ground cracked again and his human form was restored. Jack, who was seriously injured and dying, flew out and fell to the ground. Get it done. Question mark. The Empire soldiers were shocked, and Jack brothers couldn't believe it. The man swung twice at random. Spike Jack. Too easy and freehand. So strong. Saul couldn't help squinting his eyes, showing great fighting spirit. Although he may not be able to fight, he can call his friend Lu Bu and fight together. Well done. With a smile full of alcohol, the attack was clean and neat. Minato smiled with satisfaction. Although this guy is a bit reckless, he shouldn't be a small person. Locked up and sent to prison. Take pictures and report to the world. Righteous.